Shalom family, it's your friendly neighborhood teacher Elia, and I'm a healthy, wise, strong, protected, celestial being that is loved by the Most High Creator. Shalom family, shalom. So, you're not going to see my beautiful face tonight. I'm going to show my beautiful tapestry of the flat earth when I want to talk. But, just follow me tonight, family. Look, I don't know how long this is going to be, but I just got some things in my mind, some things in my chest, and I got some slides that I want y'all to go through. This is really I just want to tell y'all the conversation I had with the Spirit today, what the celestial spirits were teaching me today, giving me understanding on. And it's nothing that you guys don't already know. But just go with me, and I'm going to talk slow because I want to make sure I go through and say everything that I want to say to give as much understanding to what I'm trying to say as we go through these slides. And I think I'm gonna I might be lying right now, but I think I'm gonna put a thumbnail up of the so-called black woman who played the Wicked Witch in the new Wicked movie. The Green Woman, the Green Witch. So we're gonna this is where my conversation with the Spirit started today. So so just bear with me, family. And I want to start off with just this message beginning. We just go on with the flow. We go on with the flow. All right. I don't need to say fair use because it's not YouTube, but I'm gonna say fair use anyway because this is somebody else's video that they made, and I'll try to put, if I can remember, I'll try to put his page info if you want to go to his page, or whoever made this video, man or woman, if you want to go look at some of their other content. But this is this video, how I'm gonna start this off is the subject I'm talking about is something I think, especially if you've been watching my channel and you're back. Excuse me, family, I apologize. This is something that you might study it or you might not, but you've come across it most likely. More than likely, you've come across this theory of how people used to look back in the day. And I haven't dove deep in it. I've come across it, but I haven't really done any deep diving in it. Haven't really studied much on it. But for some reason, it was on my spirit today. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm trying to point out to you what the Most High gave to me. And it's not just from, oh, you learned this from somewhere. Like I said, this subject, it's crossed my path a few times. But like I said, nothing in depth. Maybe at the most it was like something quick that I saw on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. But it was never like, I never watched a documentary or never read no books on it. I just heard it mentioned here and there, but never put any thought into it. But today it was just on my spirit when I was watching this movie, Wicked. And then I just wanted to find something to try to just sum up just from the beginning to let you know where we're going. Just to kind of sum it up. But anyway, I know we, 3-4 minutes in already, so let me just go ahead and push play.
Our true skin color is green, not brown. We are brown because we lost the 12th element called magnesium, and that magnesium was replaced with iron, so we rusted from green to brown. Our body is made up of 70% water. When you mix iron with the water and oxygen, you get the color brown, which is rust. This is why most cultures depict their deity as having green skin, such as Osiris and Ptah, and blue skin, as you see Krishna. Most Nubian babies are also born with green Mongolian spots. Our blood was also green, chlorophyll, which is why we have green veins. And if you place a ring on your finger and cut off the oxygen, your finger is going to be green, which tells you that our true skin color is green. Our cells also contain a pigmentation called chromatophore. Chromatophore gave us the ability to change color and camouflage into any environment and hide from predators, just like lizards and reptiles do. So as the planet Earth was growing, everything was alive. and our skin was green. Our blood was chlorophyll. There was no dying or death or diseases because everything was alive. There were no poisonous plants until 36 million years after because we were not born to die. We were born to grow and expand our consciousness and grow into many suns and travel beyond the stars, becoming one with all. Our true skin color is green, not brown. We are brown because
Okay. So that's where we going with this today, family. So let's go ahead and go forth. So in the movie Wicked, right? Which is, like I said, should be the thumbnail. But what we're gonna get into in this scene right here, Ariana Grande, that's the name of the girl on the left. The my beige colored sister on the left is Ariana Grande. And in this movie, what if you don't know what Wicked is, family? Wicked is what happened before. You know how we all seen the movie The Oz, the mainstream, not what's the black version of Oz? I forget. Uh I forget what the black there's there's a black version of the Oz movie. Is leaving my memory at this moment, but I used to watch it all the time when I was little. But anyway, I'm talking about the mainstream European version of the Oz, right? So remember in the beginning of that movie, well, no, not in the beginning, but just in general, yeah, in the beginning, the first witch that showed up, I believe it was, no, the first witch you see is buried under a house. Dorothy's house landed on top of the witch and killed, well, maybe I don't want to use that word, and deleted this witch. So the only thing you saw were her slippers, the slippers that Dorothy put on. So then eventually, remember, another witch comes down in a bubble, Glinda. Well, Ariana Grande in this movie is Glinda. But at this time, Ariana Grande doesn't have any powers that Glinda. Remember how Glinda had the wand and she was floating? Well, Ariana Grande doesn't have any in this movie. Who plays Glinda doesn't have any powers because this movie is supposed to what happened before. This movie takes place before the things that happened in the movie The Wizard of Oz. So before Dorothy and Toto and the Lion and the Tin Man were even in the picture, this is Glinda and the Green Witch, the one that Dorothy poured water on and she melted. This is Glinda and that witch's life before what happened in the movie The Oz. I think you understand. The main movie, Disney movie The Oz that we watching, this movie Wicked is about what happened before that movie. So this is when they were like in, let's say, Hogwarts. They were in magical school. So keep in mind the witch, I forget her name in the movie. Bo, I forget who the Green Witch, Bo, it's something. It's Bo, I think it starts with a Bo something. I apologize. I never heard the name till now. But the Green Witch, who is played by obviously a so-called black woman. Remember, everything happens for a reason, family. Remember, I don't even know if the directors, when they made this movie, if they even truly meant, truly with their own will to create these images that they're creating. If they're really giving us these messages of their free will. Or is this just the Most High's will? And however these men's and women's lives have gone to this point to where when they directed this movie, this is the image they gave it. So in other words, what I'm saying is you have free will, but the Most High works through your free will to create certain things in your life to cause you to do certain things or mold you in the way that the Most High wants you to be. To where the Most High molded the men and women that wrote the script for this movie and picked out the actresses and actors, chose these people for this specific role. Not because they necessarily meant to give this message that I'm about to put through, but this is just how the Most High painted in their minds and their imaginations. And this is what they decided to do with the wisdom that they have been given to work in this industry. So I hope that kind of makes sense what I'm saying. I don't know if this is intentional or if this is just the Most High truly putting a message out to his people about what's going on right now. So, but at the end of the day, everything is the Most High's will. regardless of how whichever way it looks, however it goes, it's the will of the Most High. Anyway, in this scene, how I explained Glinda, and the so-called Wicked Witch is a black woman, and her skin is green, and she wears black. And at this moment, Glinda is giving her a black hat. So let me give you a little backstory. So in this movie, it's kind of like, matter of fact, I've mentioned this movie before, family. It's a movie that came out on Netflix a few years back, and Lawrence Fishburne is in it. You know Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix? What's his name? Neo's first teacher in The Matrix, who Lawrence Fishburne, Black Ball Band played. Morpheus, yeah, Morpheus, right? So Lawrence Fishburne was in this Netflix movie that is kind of like, the best way to explain it is like Hogwarts, except in Lawrence Fishburne plays the schoolmaster in this movie, right? In this movie, like I said, is the best way to explain it. Really, truly, is about Hogwarts, and it's about Lawrence Fishburne is the headmaster over a magical school, and Lawrence Fishburne's office, where he lives, sits on a bridge right in the middle of this magic school. And this magic school sits on the side of two cliffs, and then there's the water, or what would I call it? The canyon in between the two cliffs. And over these two cliffs what connects these two cliffs is a bridge. In the middle of this bridge sits Lawrence Fishburne, who is the headmaster of this magic school's office in his room where he lives, in the right smack dab middle, in the middle of these two schools. And these two schools, on the right side is the light school. It's the school where the sun is. It's where the world would consider all the good people are, all the nice people, the kind people, the people who do nice things. In other words, the white witches, the good people. And then on the other side of the bridge, on the other side of Lawrence Fishburne's school, is the school for the evil kids, I guess you want to say. The school, the building is black. Everything's black. It's like emo. Or it's like, how in the vampire movies, or movies about certain rock movies, everyone's wearing black clothes, everything's black, everything's very gothic, everything's very emo. That's how you can explain that school. And they're supposed to be the rejects. They're supposed to be the bad kids, the evil kids, right? But really, by the end of the movie, you realize it's the kids in the white school that are actually the evil ones. The best way to describe them is rich people who live in Beverly Hills in California or Hollywood, and they shop on Rodeo Drive. How they carry themselves, how they talk, how they dress, how they think they're better than people who don't have a lot of money. And they're very snobby. They have servants and things like that, right? This is how the kids in the white school acted. In the so-called white witch school, where, white represents the color, light represents the color white, and, vice versa. All the good images they put with the color white, in white witches or anything that's white, it's good, right? It's perfect, it's good, it's friendly, it's safe. But everything with black is associated with bad. Anything that's dark is bad, and it's evil, and it's a bad omen, and this and that. But by the end of the movie, like I said, I told you how the people in the white who lived in the White Castle, or the white part of the school, acted like how you would think the people on the black side should act. But when you went to the black side, it was really just kind of, no, the kids weren't perfect, but they're far from evil. They were just regular, I guess you would say, like teenagers. And they had issues in life. That's why I said emo. They were just going through stuff. There are people who have been shunned. People just didn't understand them. But they've been given this label of dark, of blackness, to make it seem like they're evil, when in reality they were better people than the people on the side that had to do with all the white and all the light colors and the bright sun, and it was just like, and I brought it up before, there's that movie called Damsel, and in the movie Damsel, remember, her father basically was giving her away to be married into a family because her father needed money for the family because they were going broke. But he assumed he was doing the right thing because he was, on the outside, he was giving his daughter away to this rich family, and they were kings, and it was a king and a queen, and she was going to be taken care of for the rest of her life. Like, she ain't got nothing to worry about no more. She's going to live in the, as they say, the lap of luxury. But in reality, these people were going to sacrifice their daughter. So my point is, family, this is why I say once again, I understand more the concept of heaven is within. Because when you understand heaven is within, you understand that you are heaven. You are the kingdom of heaven. It's not the outward thing that is heaven, it's the inward. Heaven is its people. There is no heaven without the people, because heaven is an idea. Heaven is a set of standards, of rules, of morals that you live by, right? So when you understand that, you understand that you can live in a very nice neighborhood with mansions and Ferraris, and yeah, it looks beautiful. And you might even put it on the neighborhood. When you enter the neighborhood, you'll put a sign in front that says, "Welcome to heaven. Welcome to the neighborhood of heaven." The whole neighborhood you didn't name to heaven. But in reality, when you go inside the houses and deal with the people, you really realize it's hell. Because none of those people have a righteous mindset. Nobody's trying to live by the Most High's laws. They're living as thou wilt. How's the saying go? Do as thou wilt. They're living how they want by the flesh. But you call this heaven, and you assume because it's nice, pretty, everyone's got good lawns and big houses, but in reality it's hell. But the reason it's hell, family, is because not only is heaven on the inside of you, but hell is on the inside of you as well. And both can be manifested into this physical realm. Remember, family, when you go in the spirit, we got to stop comparing the spirit to the physical world. That's why it's called the spirit world. The true heaven, I guess in the sense of the word, which we think is a place. Well, that true place, that true heaven, the true end, and we talked about this, the true end of existence, the true end of individuality, except for the all, is at the beginning, is at the Alpha. Is the beginning of all things. With the creator, the great I am that I am. Who are you? I just am that I am. The true heaven is spirit, and there is no chairs. There are no mansions. There is no gold. There is no people. The true heaven just is. It's spirit. It's a vibration. It's a feeling. It's a thought. It's a word. So keep that in mind. Dang, I know I'm getting off track. But in this movie, I know I digress. I digress all the time, family. But I was trying, and I kind of forgot what I was trying to explain. I'm not gonna lie. But if y'all following me, then you following me. So I said all that for a reason. But let's get back to this, and then when I remember, I'll come back to it. But anyway, the sister of color who plays the Green Witch. At this point in her life, she's not the wicked witch that you saw in the Oz. When the one who was fighting Dorothy and had the monkeys, that's who she's playing. She acts nothing like that in the beginning of the movie. I haven't finished it, so I don't know what happens by the end. But my point is, she was a decent, good, righteous, so-called black woman with green skin. And one of the reasons why she was born that way is because her mother, who was a black woman who married a rich white man, her mother cheated on her husband with a black man, and the baby came out green. So one, they try to make green because they say green is the color of some people, the devil, and is evil and is envious. And her mother, how they depicted, did an evil thing, which, cheating on your husband regardless is not a good thing, or vice versa. A husband cheating on his wife is not a good thing. It is an evil thing, in my opinion. But nonetheless, I'm just giving you her backstory. She is born out of adultery, and she comes out green, and her father just has to be black. But truly, like I said, if you understand the deeper meaning, they're showing you something by two black people making this green baby. Yes, there's many meanings to it. Yes, it was out of wicked marriage, and it was out of wicked adultery, but at the same time, it happened for a reason. And the reason is that it's kind of like in the beginning, how the man said we used to be green in that clip I showed you, right? Well, he's showing you two so-called black people coming together and making what? A green baby. You guys ever heard of how sometimes, because remember they say that so-called white people come from black people, right? How they say everyone comes from Africa, right? And I'm pretty sure it's probably happened other places in the world, but I think it happens a bit more in, let's say, around South Africa. And I remember seeing this movie, and this movie was about this white family who had a black looking daughter. Like she looked like her parents are both white, but they had a child, and she looked like she was a light skinned black woman, and it was really their child. It wasn't her. The wife didn't cheat. This is just something that happens sometimes. But what I'm saying is, most people would say, well, that happened because white people actually came from black people. Like every color comes from black, right? But you can't get black from white. But you can get white from black. You can get blue. You can get orange. Every color of the rainbow, right, can come from black. Colors don't come from black. And maybe I was wrong about what I said about getting white from black. But I'm pretty sure you can get white from black. But anyway. And if you can't, we'll just put it aside, whatever. I know that should be a simple, this is like something I should know, right? And I feel like I know this answer has been told before. But I don't want to give you all the wrong information. I just want to give you what I know right now. But anyway. So, everything comes from black. So, what it's showing in that scene, where even though, yes, she's green because her mother was unfaithful to her father and had adultery in the marriage and slept with a black man, and she had this baby through adultery. So yes, the evil intent is there, but the wisdom of the Most High, when it goes back to that clip I showed you with TikTok, is really showing us it's a story. It's a story beneath a story, and the story beneath the story is showing that. Remember how I said those white people in South Africa had the black passing daughter, light-skinned daughter, where she looked black, but she came from two white parents? Because there's a recessive gene of the Negro in everybody. Because as they say, everybody comes from Africa. Which, once again, I know what I said before. I don't really necessarily believe that anymore, because North America. But nonetheless, the point is, everybody comes from melanin, from a melanated background. Everyone at some point on this earth comes from a melanated background of melanated people. So that gene just came out in those white people. So what I'm saying is that gene for green just came out of these two black people. These two black people slept together. And yeah, the movie, on the top story layer of the movie, is making you look at it as, okay, they did a bad thing because they slept out of wedlock, because the woman cheated on her husband out of wedlock, it is a bad thing. But the underlying story is these two black people came together and had a recessive gene that made a green child. In other words, they had a daughter that looked like the ancestors. So, also in this scene, remember the Wicked Witch wears what color? Black. And in this scene, Glinda, remember how I told you guys Glinda was part of, that's where I was going earlier. Remember, Glinda was part of, like I was explaining the movie with with Lawrence Fishburne, right? Is that in this movie, even though these people are dressed nice and they're in this fancy looking school and they got uniforms on and they seem like affluent people with money and come from good families, they're very snobby, evil, shallow, in my opinion, unrighteous people, regardless of how they dress and how fancy they look. And no matter how beautiful the scene looks around them with the light and the birds, they're really horrible people. They're very, really, really people. Remind me of people like how we act today, or back in, let's say, the Victorian age, right? They're really not, underneath all the nice clothes and name brand, they're horrible people on the inside. And truly, so far, the only righteous people I see in this movie, in my opinion, is this so-called Wicked Witch, this black woman who's green, who they paint out to, who Glinda, as well as all the other people, judge. They scorn her. They let her know that she holy, she's set apart. They throw insults at her. They treat her differently because of how she looks. She's an outcast, and Glinda ain't no better. Glinda just a snobby little rich girl in this movie, right? She's not the Glinda from the Oz movie. She's not that righteous woman that apparently she grows into. And matter of fact, she's jealous of the black girl and wants what the black girl has, because during this point of the movie, Glinda doesn't have power, but the black girl does. The black green woman does have power. So at this moment, you know how they say they paint pictures of witches, and witches are supposed to wear pointy hats, family? Well, Glinda thinks it's a joke. Glinda talking with some of her other school compadres, her school chums, her school, what do you want to call them, school friends earlier. Some of the people who helped make fun of the Green Witch, the so-called black woman who plays the Green Witch, right? And they're basically making fun of her, and they're talking about this party coming up. And Glenda realizes that she has this black pointy hat. And they basically start giggling as a joke, and Glenda's basically like, I'm going to give this hat to her as a joke because of how she looks, because I guess making a joke that she looks like a witch or something because she's green and no one likes her. But so this, in this scene, this is when Glenda is handing the hat over to the black woman who's in green, because at this moment she's singing this song and basically buttering the black woman up. Basically, it's almost like Carrie. Remember the movie Carrie, where they invite Carrie to the party under the circumstances that they like her and they just wanted to come hang out with them. And then when they get to the party, and when Carrie gets to the party, they set that they spring this practical joke on her before she goes crazy and kind of destroys everything. Now, I'm not saying this is where I haven't gotten, like I said, I didn't finish the movie. So I'm not saying this is happening in the movie, but this could be happening soon. But I'm just trying to give you the understanding of the circumstances of why Glenda is giving this black woman this hat. She doesn't mean it. She may be singing nice and making it seem like, oh, look, girl, you look beautiful in this hat. You'll look good. This is so you should put it on. But she really means it as a joke. She means it as a slight towards the black woman. But the black woman is taking it as, because remember, at this point, she's not the evil, wicked witch. She's just kind. She's very respectful. In my opinion, a very righteous woman is who she's playing, a righteous black woman who is green, who looks like our ancestors in this movie. This is who she's playing to me. But what Glenda doesn't understand is, even though she means to slight this black woman by giving her this hat, this white woman giving this black, and once again, look, if you of the different race watching this, look, we've already talked about how I feel. I don't hate no, but look, the Most High has taught me, trust no man, whether they look like me or not, darker than me, lighter than me, trust no man. I trust people. I don't trust nobody, but I have faith in people based on their actions. So regardless of what your skin tone is, I ain't got no issue with you. I'm not wishing you to be hell, be my slave, no crazy stuff. I'm not saying you beneath me, ain't nothing like that, because I read the word and I know what the Most High wants from me. And that's not how I'm supposed to carry myself with anybody, whether they look like me or not. It's all respect. Whether you Asian, white, Hispanic, as they say, you show me love, I show you love. Even though we know how I feel about that word too. In other words, you show me respect, at the end of the day, I'm going to at least show you respect regardless. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, you Edom or you Esau. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get to the truth. So I just want to say to those who will cling, remember there's the tribes, but there's also the multitude who follow the tribes into the promised land. But those are people who are like-minded with what I go with. In other words, like I said, I judge people by the act. Look, just because you don't believe in what I believe in, I'll still say what's up, cordial with you. You're a great acquaintance. Shoot, I might even come eat dinner at your house if you invite me out of respect. If I know you're a safe person, I can be around, under the right circumstances. But that don't mean that we family, as the word says, who are my mother and my brothers but those who do the will of the Most High. Those is my true family. Those are the people I truly have faith in, regardless of your color, because you live by that word. And what's one of the main signs of people who live by the word? They manifest the word in their everyday conversation. No matter the conversation you have with them, this is something I noticed, and it don't mean that you Christian, but people who truly have faith in the Creator. The Creator is always coming out of their mouth constantly. Every conversation they have, there's something about the Creator got to come out, or Yahushua, or something to do with the word, or things of a word nature, or something of a biblical, or for lack of a better term, but for understanding of a religious nature, or so-called religious nature. So people who truly are about this life and seeking this wisdom, it's constantly in the vernacular. They're constantly learning. No, not everybody, but in my opinion, that's one of the main signs I look for people who are like-minded. Their conversation. What is their conversation around? How do they speak? What are the things they speak of? But anyway, I digress. These in this scene, like I said, Glenda meant to give, and I feel so bad that I don't know her name right now, but I know Glenda's name because we do. But like I said, they called her the Wicked Witch. She didn't have a name until now, I don't think, right? But anyway, so I'm gonna just keep going. But remember, she meant to give this pointy hat to the woman of color, the black woman witch. She meant to give this hat to her as a slight. Glenda meant to give this hat to her as a slight. But what Glenda didn't really realize also what this really oh, okay, my bad, fam. I was looking at something. But what Glenda really did is she did something very symbolic in this moment by giving. Hold on, let me look up her name online real quick, family. I wanna give the Green Witch, our sister, the respect. If I know Glenda's name, let me give her name. Let me put some respect on her name instead of keep calling her the Black Woman Witch. I apologize. It's Elf. It's Elphaba. Okay, Elf. You know what? And it might mean something. I need to look into that name. Actually, El. See, actually, and Abba. Look at this. Okay, family, look. It does. Even as I'm looking at it, I'm not even thinking it was in my face this whole time. See, look at the Most High. And I'm look. As we doing this video, this come to me right now. Because I was just family. Oh man, it's funny. Hold on. Let me just pull up her name real quick. In the movie, the so-called Wicked Witch. Oh, give me a second, family. I apologize. Neener, neener. Hold on, let me get it. Neener, 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 nee. Neener, neener, nee, nee. Oh, yeah, I didn't like that. Okay. This is the sister. And you know what? She might be a Hamite. As I'm looking at the picture, family, she might be a Hamite. But it's fine. Look. Look. Who my brother? Who's my mother, my brother, and let me add my sisters. But those who do the will of the Most High. And they come in all shapes and forms. They come from all the tribes of the earth. But so my sister Cynthia Erivo, I believe she probably she looked like she kind of see, dang you world, making my computer acting crazy right now. So, dang, this might, I hope, okay, never mind, it's coming back. Okay, never mind, we good, family. But anyway, let me get back on track. But I think this woman right here, Cynthia Erivo, she might be from the Hamite tribes, which is fine. But anyway, my point is, though, for the message of the movie, she's a so-called Negro woman, a.k.a. descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Descendants of the lost tribes of Israel and Judah. That's who she is in the movie. Because, you know, remember, I think, did the new Martin Luther King movie, they had it being played by a British brother? And, you know, people from England who are of color usually are from the Hamite tribes. They not us. A lot of them travel over there. Yeah, you got some Jamaicans. But a lot of them, I think the majority are from Africa in England. Which is not a problem. Y'all understand what I'm trying to say. For this movie though, she might be, but for the case of this movie, she is a indigenous so-called black woman, descendants of the tribes of Judah, the lost tribes of Judah and Judah, you know, who hail from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the forefathers. Well, I say forefathers, that's only three. Hold on, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and I guess let's add Israel, even though it's the same thing. But yeah, or we could say Moses. Maybe we should probably add Moses to that. Anyway, I digress. As always, I digress. But her name is, the Green Witch's name is, and y'all know I be long drawn. I know it's 34 minutes, family, but he goes. So the Green Witch is Elphaba, right? That's her name, Elphaba. I'm gonna remember that. If I can remember Glenda, I can remember Miss Elphaba. Goose Faba. Oh man, look at me. See, got my stuff. Oh, give me a second, family. Let's go ahead and get that back up. But I'm pulling up something real quick. Okay. So at this moment, yeah, this is probably gonna be a long one. So at this moment, family, Glenda is passing this hat over to Elphaba, who is my beautiful black sister right here in the green, right? So Glenda means this as a slight to Elphaba, the green witch, right? But in reality, the symbolism is, for anybody who watching this video, y'all seen me mention brothers like Big Levi, Big Judah, Abdullah the Seer, my brother Kudameo. And remember, I don't know none of these brothers personally. I haven't talked to none of them. Well, I've had email messages with Big Judah and Big Levi. No, with Big Levi and Abdullah the Seer, but they were more of as a commenter on their page and asking for information. But it wasn't of a more intimate nature where we actually talk to each other. But nonetheless, I refer y'all to these brothers because these brothers have a lot of wisdom. And one of the main subjects that they've been saying a lot these past year, even more, is the season. And the time in the season is that, family, the crown is being passed over. The crown of leadership. Or as we say in the last days, the last will be first. No, the first will be last and the last will be first. What this symbol of Glenda, the so-called, white woman, passing this hat over to the so-called black woman, is symbolic of the handing over of the scepter, of the crown, of the Most High handing the blessing back over to the original inhabitants of this land, of so-called America's Atlantis, or of the earth in general. That the leadership crown. And remember in the movie Harry Potter too, remember the movie Harry Potter, the black hat, where they would put the hat over their when you first came to the school Hogwarts, they took you to the lunchroom and they would put a magical hat on their head. Remember, it looked like a witch's hat, but it talked like an old man. And they put the hat on the head, and the hat would tell you what fraternity you would be in Hogwarts, if you be in Gryffindor or Slytherin or Hufflepuff or whatever the other ones were, right? Well, that hat was also black as well. But that hat, remember, that was a hat of wisdom. That's why they put the hat on them to decide it. Because that hat would look through their minds and look at their lives to basically point them to the house that best suits their purpose and their goals in life, because he looked at who they were, their past, because the hat was wise. So this black hat being passed over to this woman who is being this so-called black woman, Elphaba, this hat being this representative of the wisdom being given back to the Most High's people. And also, okay, her name in the movie is Elphaba, El denoting Israel, or what else? Or Israel, the people. The L, what? Forgive me, family. The L denotes. The L represents, basically, it's almost like, how people wear a family crest. And people could tell, like back in the day, they had family crests for different houses. So you know what house or family someone's from their crest. Well, L is like the same thing, like showing ownership of the Most High. That L is like a crest that, okay, this is the Elohim. They part of the Elohim. So that L. And then Haba, the what? Like a breath. But Abba who? Abba Father, the Most High. Abba. El Abba, the Most High. Coming, family, you'll hear him say El, like breath, or Abba, El Abba, Elohim, the Elohim. Come on, family, y'all. The message, what I'm saying in the movie, that's her name in the movie. Her name is Elphaba, representing who? The children of Israel, right? Oh, but hold on, let me put that up there again so y'all can see. Her name, see? El, and then Abba, Abba, Most High Creator. And I know the ha, but I can see breath like ha, like the breath of life, which we'll get into later in this video. Remember the breath of life. But messages, family, I'm saying, what is the message they're telling us, right? So anyway, Glenda really meant this as a slight, but in reality, it's symbolic of what's going on in the world right now. Once again, the scepter being passed over, the wisdom being handed back to the Most High's people, the rise of Israel, the rise of Atlanteans, the rise of Atlantis, right? And also remember, she wears black. And remember we talking about, once again, our people used to be green. Where did we come from? Type situation, right? And the hat represents what? Where does true power come from? It comes from the darkness, family, because everything started in the dark. And even think about this, family, whenever we watch movies, right, of people going underground, what are the two main colors that we see when they have like glow sticks? Or remember when sometimes people in certain movies, they'll make it, they'll put plants that live under the ground. And what color do these plants glow? They glow blue or green, right? They in the darkness. So I'm painting the picture, family, the darkness. Remember, keep in mind, remember earlier too where we talked about the South American white people having, because of a gene, having a daughter that looks black, but really she came from white people, or the black people having the green baby was really is DNA left in us from green people, right? Or even, no, I'm not gonna use that, but y'all get what I'm saying. So keep that in mind too as we go forward. I'm about to change slides, but remember, the hat is black, and it denotes wisdom. Wisdom being passed over, but wisdom of what as well? Remember, I showed you guys this once again. It's coming back up. And this is Genesis 1, verse 2. The earth was a formless void. Void denoting darkness. What is void? It's a big gulf. It's emptiness. A void of nothingness. And darkness, the void, it was a dark void. Covered the face of the deep. When you go deeper, especially in the ocean, what happens? When you go deep in the ocean, what is it? It's dark. There ain't no light. It's dark. While a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Remember, wind, family, is translucent. You know the wind is there because you feel it. You see it. You see wind. What's the word? Wind. Dang it, I just had it in my mind. Wind. What is the word? Interacting. When you know wind is there because you see it interacting with the environment around you. Like you see it blowing the trees. You know the leaves. You can even feel it on your body, making your hair fly. You know wind is there, but you can't see it. It's translucent. So if it's dark, what color would technically the wind be in the dark? It would be black because it's dark. So there's wind, and like, come on, y'all been out at night before and there's been wind. So wind doesn't have a color. Now, I guess some people might say maybe some people could say a cloud is a condensed version of wind, and then it's white, but nonetheless, when it's at its most thinnest level, it has no color. It's translucent. It's the color of whatever's around it. So at the end of the day, the point is black. So the earth was formless, void, and so the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Now, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. So in other words, darkness came before light. It said what God, or let's say in the term I really use, the creator said what? Let there be light. So there was no light before the darkness. But also remember, family, light represents what? Wisdom. So it can also represent the Most High waking up to itself. When the Most High finally realized through its consciousness that it was a living being, that it was a alone standing eternal being of its own, of itself. There was nothing else but its conscience. There was nothing else but the creator itself in its conscience, its form, in its true form, which is nothingness, which is a vast void of darkness, of nothingness. But not in a bad way, because obviously everything came from the original nothing. I know we say this before in common sense. What do people say? Don't nothing come from nothing? Exactly. The Most High was nothing with a conscience. which with this conscience was able to speak itself into existence. Are you following me? So it's not nothing in the way it's nothing, as in today's definition of it's nothing, because obviously nothing comes from nothing, and something don't come from nothing. But the Most High, who represented as nothing, is the void, created everything that now comes from something, because we came from something. The conscience of the Most High, which, as the word says, spoke life, or spoke. Or another word for speaking is when you speak, what are you doing? You're sending sound, what? Vibrations into the air. The true vibration, the first vibration, which was not a word, but was a vibration, or maybe a feeling, or a tone. And this is the Most High first speaking life, or basically through wisdom of itself, speaking more wisdom or knowledge, or the building blocks of the universe. Light just means wisdom. Wisdom, what do you do with wisdom? You turn wisdom into knowledge and you build. So the Most High said, let there be light. The Most High used the Most High's wisdom to do what? Build light, and said, let there be light. A physical light, and most importantly, light represents wisdom. Because the Most High needed wisdom to do what? To convert into knowledge, to do what? To create the light. All right, class. Now, like Dora the Explorer. What is light, family? It's up in the corner. Wisdom. No, I'm playing. If you ain't seen Dora the Explorer, then I apologize to my. But if you have, do you know what I'm saying? Swipe or no swiping? Can you point at the map? Do you see the map? Point at it, everybody. No, I'm playing. Okay. And then, okay, so remember, let's keep going with this. Then, the Gospel of Thomas. The disciple said to Jesus, tell us how will our end come? Yeah, my bad. Gospel of Thomas, verse 18. And Abdullah the Seer is just reading this recently, family. So there's many different meanings. But I'm giving you the meaning that the Most High is giving me through what I'm teaching. The disciple said to, I'm going to use Yahusha. The disciple said to Yahusha, tell us, how will our end come? Yahusha said, have you found the beginning then, that you are looking for the end? You see, the end will be where the beginning is. Congratulations to the one who stands at the beginning. That one will know the end and will not taste death. Darkness came before the light. Now I want to go back. What did I just read in Thomas? Do you know the beginning that you now look for the end? Who was the beginning? The beginning started in the darkness. So what are some colors, family? Remember I brought up the cave, and using the caves, there's blue light and green light, which acts as, I guess, the sunlight that causes the cave plants to grow, family, in the movies. But this also comes to common sense. What do they tell us in school, family? What do they teach us about so-called space that is full of planets and asteroids? All right, what is space? Space is a dark void, right? And they say one day, what do they say about the suns? They say the sun is going to blow up one day. Matter of fact, they see that they say that the stars in the sky, a lot of the times, what you're really seeing is stars that already exploded and died. And that's just the light finally reaching us. So even though it looks like a planet to us, by the time you get there, you'll realize that it already exploded. But my point is, what do they teach us? That one day the sun is going to die, and that's kind of prophetic in itself. Yahusha gave his life, the sun is going to die. But it also gives another lesson, family, that all these so-called planets like Earth that they say is flying through space at thousands of miles an hour, just aimlessly spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and gravity and all this blah, 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 whatever. At the end of the day, if we're going by science, what they teach, all life itself does what? It grows in the dark. Let me say it again, family. All life, what? It grows in the dark. So everything comes from what? The darkness. Where did we start? The darkness. What is the ultimate power? The darkness. Because we all came from what? The darkness. And what are some of the first colors the Most High possibly came out of the darkness before anything? Because everything comes in the dark and is growing in the dark. What? Blue and green, aka blue and green people. Because these are the color, this is the Most High. Think of the Most High Creator, family, as a child in the beginning, just playing around with shapes and colors and different sounds and tones. The first image, that's why I say, family, when you're made in the, people say when you're made in the image of the Most High. When you're made in the image of the Most High, family, it's not talking about a physical body. It's talking about the mind of the Most High, the wisdom of the Most High, the knowledge of the Most High, the mind of a engineer, of a creator. The actions, the beliefs, the feelings of a creator, of an engineer, like our Father who created. Which is what our ancestors, Adam and Eve, were put here to do. To create. To do what? To till the garden. To create. To live. To experience. But I digress. I forgot. Okay, so like I said, this hat is symbolism. This hat is also symbolism of hard times too. Of hard times passing from one nation to another nation. Or good times passing from one nation to another nation. These two women in this picture are swapping two things. They swapping heads of state and they're swapping the, what's the word? The circumstances of two peoples. And the circumstances, one being poverty and the other one riches. And that's just the way it is. But it's not, when it's the Most High's people, it's not in a worldly way. So some people hear this and they think, oh my God, slavery and you saying the black people are going to come and act just like the rich people now? No. Look, first off, I'm talking about the Most High's people, the people who truly accept the word and live by the law. If you are truly a follower of the law, you ain't thinking about making nobody your slave. You're not thinking over lording over people and destroying people. Matter of fact, we better than the people who did that. We better than you. We didn't come here to be taking people's lives and lording over them like we the slave master and you the slave. If you're a true believer in this word, that's not at all what you get. That's not at all what you want to do. You thinking about the matrix. You thinking about these times of this probationary period. Family, look, everything happens for a reason. The Most High gives people free will, and people go rampant with their free will, but at the end of the day, it's the Most High's will. Man, should I even jump into that right now? Before I get, because I don't want to get, let me see. Let me go, like I said, it's going to be a long video, family. Let me keep going. So, basically, family, if I'm just gonna be realistic with y'all right now, just look. Yes, bad things in the world happen. Bad things in this world happen, but it's not the Creator's fault per se. It's the Creator's will. But remember, the Creator gives us free will. And I remember in the army they used to say this all the time. We give you soldiers enough rope to hang yourselves. Like, we give you freedom, but it's up to you to do the wrong thing with the freedom you're given. Not saying that we want you to do the wrong thing, but because of the nature of men, the nature of soldiers, of male soldiers, or the nature of man is what I'm talking about, of men and women on this earth, of people in the flesh. The nature is, I'm going to give you all the freedom in the world, and you're going to do with it what you will. Some of you are going to do the right thing, and some of you are going to do the bad thing. But really, all of you are going to do a little bit of both. It's just some of you are going to go a little further than others. But I gave you this probationary period as the Most High, so y'all can get this BS out your system. I don't expect you to be perfect. You're not. This world is also, my neighbor, I'll put it like this. My neighbor just recommended this movie to me recently that I watched. It's called The Final Approach. I think it came out in 1997. It's called The Final Approach. And it's about this pilot who died, and now he's in heaven, and God is playing this therapist because the pilot guy, the guy who plays the pilot who died, he forgot. He lost his memories. And God is trying to bring his memories back to him and wake him up to get him to acknowledge the fact that, dude, you're dead. You're not alive anymore. You've been deleted. You died in a plane crash, and you're actually in heaven right now. And you're either going to go to heaven or hell, and this and that and the other. But at the end of the movie, God, the therapist who was playing God in this movie called Final Approach, was basically explaining to the man, look, Earth is an experiment. He said that I'm God and I'm a scientist, and I'm creating an experiment to figure out how to populate the universe. So this is why I made Earth. Earth is like a big experiment or a petri dish, and there's a whole world in it. And I'm doing it right now to test these people to figure out how to populate the universe. So my point is, family, everything that can happen will happen. And it happens for a reason, because we all have free will, and we're all in a big experience or matrix or test or probationary period for the Most High. So people are going to get hurt because you're dealing with other people, other children of the Most High who have free will. The best way to explain it too for some of y'all is Grand Theft Auto. Real life is Grand Theft Auto. Now that doesn't mean go, and some people might say, man, you can't tell people this because then they'll think there's no hell and you could do wrong. Look, you can do wrong. But remember, doing wrong is a choice. So I'm not telling nobody to do wrong. So nobody will get here and think you should go sleep around. Remember too, there's always consequences to everything you do. Remember, there's a consequence to every action. There is no there is no action without a reaction. There is no reaction without an action. So every choice you make in life, whether life puts what's the word? Puts the label on it of it a good deed or an evil deed, right? Each choice is going to have a reaction. And sometimes, even though it's a good deed, sometimes the reaction of that good deed will cause an evil reaction or a more good reaction. But remember, all these reactions come from every other person, family, because the Creator gives us free will. And we even have the free will to delete people, to blow things up. We have the free will to assault people, whether it be with fisticuffs or even in a graping manner. And I hate to say it, ladies, and I mean no disrespect. And I'm not saying that the Most High wanted you to get raped, or I'm not saying that it was right. What I'm saying is, yes, like I said, if you do that, there's actually consequences. But what I'm saying is, and this is the part, is that the Creator, like that scientist, created what we are in, family, is a science experiment to give wisdom and knowledge to the Most High that you take when you go back home to the all, to that true form of heaven, which is the nothingness. When you go back, you're taking wisdom, you're taking experience with you. Remember, I told y'all, family, the most valuable substance in the universe is your memories, is experience, because this experience goes back and is downloaded into the all, into the Akashic libraries. Like I've said it before, the Creator also is like Brainiac from Superman, family, just constantly eating more wisdom, eating knowledge, just wanting more wisdom and knowledge. Or remember the movie The Eternals, remember it says, in order for God to be made in the Eternals, the God is born out of a planet that has been populated by millions or billions of people over time, and eventually the planet is like an egg that hatches into a God, and all those people's experiences and memories are what? Are eaten by that God. The God that the earth made, all the experiences that happened with the people that were living on that God before it hatched into a bigger God were taken in by that God. Now that God has all that wisdom. That God is born with wisdom because you were that God. Every person on the earth was representation of that God going through that gestation period, waking up with all the wisdom of the universe within them. I hope that makes sense. So, to summarize it again, family, look, as they say, light, even though, look, I think I remember the Bible. The Bible even says, basically, life isn't fair. Bad things happen to righteous people too, but everything is a test. If you truly understand what I'm saying, you're understanding that everything is a test. And you've heard sometimes how people say, and I even said in my video talking about the Book of Mormon that time, some of us chose to come back here to help deliver others. Because sometimes, how can someone be delivered from something if no one there is to tell them that it's okay? If no one there is to be a good example to say, look, I've been through what you've been through, my brother, my sister, and look where I'm at now. The Most High has set me free. No more guilt. No more pain, no more anger, no more unforgiveness. The Most High has taught me and set me free. So if I can be who I am now, free and happy and joyful in the Most High, knowing everything's okay, that I have eternal life, you can do the same thing, my sister, my brother. We lead by example. And I know I've digressed to the point again that I forget what I'm talking about. What was I talking about? I was talking about the move. Oh yeah, so life, yeah, family. Just like I said, I'm not saying. Look, and sometimes too. Also remember, when one person thinks is good, another person thinks is evil. When one person says is the right thing, another person says is the wrong thing. Sometimes it's about people perception, and that's a big thing when countries are at war. When countries are at war, a lot of times, each country think they on the right side. Each country think they fighting the enemy. They fighting monsters trying to destroy them. In reality, they just seen it. They both look. Like for instance, let's take World War II. The Germans, right? They thought that they were doing the right thing. They thought that, from their point of view, we're righteous people. But then on the other point, the people being invaded, or let's say the Americans, the Allies, they thought that they're doing the right thing. No, our beliefs are right. And we're going to oppose our beliefs on earth because our beliefs are more right than your beliefs. So both sides thought that they were on a righteous cause. Both sides thought they were right when in reality they're both wrong. But then they're both right at the same time. But who's to say? It's from the point of view. They believed during wartime, people truly believed that what they're doing is the right thing. They believe it's the righteous thing to do. They believe it's the honorable thing to do. The Germans thought that what they were doing was the right thing to honor to. And honestly, sometimes when I look at Mr. Hitler myself, look, I'm going to be honest, I ain't got no problem with Hitler. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. What I'm saying is when you study certain people and certain things they say, I agree with some things he said. I'm not talking about his actions, but there are certain things that has come out that Hitler said about so-called people in America, like we are the jewels. We are the jewels of the Most High, the jewels of the Most High. And America has the jewels. In other words, the white man has the so-called black man in his hand in the Americas, and we are the true jewels of the Most High. So yeah, I agree with him when he said that. Now, do I agree with his methods and everything that he did in life? I'm not saying that either. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, as they say, there's three sides to every story. And some things are about perception. Once again, not saying it's right. But matter of fact, I want to give this last advice now. Let's say me one day, as a so-called black man, one day the government comes out and says all black people are dangerous and they need to be put into internment camps. My neighbors who are, let's say, of a more lighter color, from different nations, and not just talking about white people, but Asian, Hispanic, Arabic, whatever, people of lighter skin tones. I know there are some of them who will truly pick up the phone, call the authorities, and say, hey, I got a neighbor who's black, you need to come pick him up and take him to these camps. And they'll forget about all the times we had dinner together, family. They'll forget about all the laughs we had a drink, the times I helped them. Because in their mind, if the government says, because the government is their God, this is what all this Republican Democrat stuff is, family. Truly, they're in a cult themselves. Family, understand, I've said this before, politics is a religion in itself. People just don't realize it. They're in a cult themselves. They're just the biggest cults. So they're able to pick on smaller cults, and they're able to say we're not a cult. They're able to have enough power to not have people put that label on them, when in reality that's what Republicans and Democrat Party are. That's what patriotism is. It's cults and religions. They're doing the same thing that everybody else does. But my point is, because my neighbors are so enthralled in this cult called patriotism, or this religion called patriotism, their government, who is their God, will say, hey, these people are evil. Regardless of, once again, of our past experiences, they will happily call the hotline number to get me and my family picking up and deported and taken to internment camps, because the government said it's the right thing to do. regardless of how I've treated them, the respect I've had for them. But they believe in their heart, in their spirit, that they're doing the right thing, because the right thing is to go to college, get a degree, get a good job, work there for 20 years, get a retirement, and then die. This is what they believe in. This is their way of life. So if they believe that we need to go and be put in internment camps because we're interfering with their way of life, best believe they will call on me in a second, regardless of how many good times we had. Because once again, at the end of the day, the deciding factor between people who will call and won't call are those who truly live righteously, regardless of the color of their skin. Those who truly study the word and know that I'm not about to call on my neighbor. This is BS. This ain't got nothing to do. The word does say follow your government, family, but it also does speak about following your government. But you don't follow your government to the point to where they go against the Most High's word. In other words, the basic. If the government's laws are don't steal, don't kill, honor your mother and father, don't covet other people's stuff, if that's the government laws, then hey, we cool. I mean, that's straight. But as soon as the government starts talking about sacrificing babies and going to fight wars for no reason, or people, you know what I'm saying, and Satan stick certain things in me to do this and that, whatever. Look, that's when you got to start asking questions, family, and be like, hey, whoa, you going too far now, big brother. You about to make me go against the Most High's law following you. So I'm gonna go ahead and I need to take a step back, because you going crazy. I'm gonna let you go crazy by yourself. But anyway, let me get back. So like I said, I know, but anyway, let's keep going, family. So remember, darkness came before the light. And you see how I got the angels right there, and then I got the dark hole, the void equals fire, because the fire makes what? Light. The light comes from the darkness. Wisdom comes from the darkness. This is where we started. Or I got the angel with dark skin, angel 2. The light angel came from the dark angel. I'm just saying, family, we're using common sense of the Most High here too. And then what else did I say? I said, oh yeah, who can stand before the all-consuming darkness? For the light itself came from the darkness. Okay, also remember, and I mentioned this before, I'm going to mention again, remember, family, the movie Gods of Egypt? And remember, Horus took the human guy up above the earth to I think, who was on the boat? Was it Osiris? It was one of the gods on the boat above the earth. And the boat was like on the waters above the earth. Water represents wisdom. Remember, the Most High went to the well and talked to the Sumerian woman and said, if you truly knew what water I had, you'd ask for it, because you'd never thirst again, because water also represents wisdom. So, but my point is, remember, gods of Egypt, when they went on that boat, which was traveling over the waters of wisdom, when Horus took the human and they went up to, like I said, to the boat, and I said, I think it might have been Osiris, the god Osiris, but basically the God, the creator of all, was sitting on this boat on top of the earth, going over the waters of wisdom. And remember, he said he was busy and he didn't have time to worry about the things about what humans got going on earth, because he was protecting earth from this beast. That he would pick up a staff and he would point it outside of the boat at this beast, this big dark cloud that was coming to, I guess, eat the earth. And the God would stand there every day with that weapon to be able to repel this beast that was coming to swallow the earth and all life. That darkness, see, in the movie, once again, they make you think that darkness is evil, but it's really symbolic of, what did Yahushua say again? What did he say in the past one? What did he say? He said, have you found the beginning then, that you are looking for the end? You see the end. You see the end will be where the beginning is. Congratulations to the one who stands at the beginning. That one will know the end and will not taste death. The end, family, is darkness. That's where we came from. That's what the God on the boat was fighting away. It's making it seem, the darkness seem evil. But eventually, family, that's the goal as you ascend. Is eventually you're going to go all the way home. Not to some heaven that you imagine in your mind that the Christian church is painting for you. Yes, you'll go to other realms. If you're not ready to go yet, you'll go to other realms. You'll live other different lives. But one day you're going to decide to go home back to the all. And that's the darkness. That's the all-consuming darkness. You have to go back where you started from. Remember, it says all men return to where they come from. All flesh, right? If flesh came from what? The clay. And when you pass away, what do they do? Bury you in the ground. You go back no matter what, no matter how hard you fight it. One day you're going back, whether you like it or not. So 666 broken down is what? Carbon or melanin. 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 6 protons. This is what the universe is made of, family. We come from the darkness. King Solomon, then Solomon said the Lord had said that he would dwell in a dark cloud. What? A dark cloud. A cloud, or remember we talked about earlier, a cloud being a more dense form of wind, or sometimes the wind represents the voice of the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High, or the wisdom of the Most High. The wind, when you feel the wind, that's the Most High talking to you. The Lord has said that he would dwell in a dark cloud, and cloud does what? It moves with the what? The wind. Psalms chapter 27. And remember, the children of Israel followed what? A cloud of what? Smoke. Remember? Okay. For he will hide me. And remember, even clouds though. Well, no, I won't say that. But anyway, wind is what? The color of its surroundings. So if it's dark, then wind is dark. Okay? Psalms 27, chapter 27, verse 5. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. What did it say? For he will hide me in his shelter in the what? The day of trouble. So he's hiding him from what? The day. And if you're hiding from the day, where do you go? Into darkness. For he will hide me in his shelter in the day of trouble. In his shelter. What does shelter make? Darkness. Shelter makes shade, family. He will conceal me under the cover of his tent. If you're going in the tent and the sun is out, what are you doing? You're getting out of the sun. And you're what? The darkness of the tent, family, the shade of the tent. Anyway, it's a darker shade. That's my point. You're going back to source. Remember, once again, the 2 black people who had the green baby, like the 2 white people who had the black child. In other words, it's that latent DNA from who what? The ancestors used to be. You go back to where you came from. Psalms chapter 17, verse 8. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. What? In the shadow of what? Your wings. How do you know you have a shadow? Because there's a light pointing out your shadow. So you're hiding from what? The light. Just saying, family. Because what? Light comes from darkness. There would be no light if there wasn't darkness. And even when you turn the light out, what's waiting for you? What? The darkness. Okay, darkness is not evil. Live. For it is humans. Oh, my bad. For it is humans made of flesh that can only live, or aka evil, in the light of the sun, for a brief moment of time. But the ruach of darkness is timeless, is everywhere, always present, watching and consuming all. The darkness is going to consume us all at some point, family. But it's how you look at it. It's not an evil thing. It's the Most High. It's you. And then when you're ready, and if you get bored back there, guess what? You can go into another matrix. You can go back and experience some lifetime. You can go experience things again. This is the level we trying to rise to, family, where we can go back and forth like our King Yahushua between kingdoms in different forms, in different places, where we can have rule of the universe to do what we want, but we'll act righteously because we know because we just be different then. Anyway, and remember, family, live backward is what? Evil. And what is evil? The flesh is evil. And remember, what does the word say? If you love your life, you'll lose it. If you hate your life, you'll gain it. Because we're not supposed to love this flesh. And when people talk about living forever, family, that's actually a curse. Matter of fact, I want to bring this up. This is another thing that's been on my mind as of late. The Most High bringing it back to me again. The difference between the reason why the difference between the tree of life and death and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So, and you guys already know this, family, but this is just in my spirit. Maybe somebody needs to be needs this reiterated, or maybe somebody listening don't know about this. But when we thinking about Adam and Eve in the book of Genesis, in the beginning of the Bible, and we think about the 2 choices, the book of life and death, and no, the tree of the tree of life and death, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and why the word says that it's a blessing that Adam and Eve didn't eat the apple of the tree of life, no, of the tree of life and death before they ate the apple. No, it's a good thing that Adam and Eve ate the apple from the tree of good and evil before they ate it from the tree of life and death. And that's for a reason. And the reason is because, remember, family, remember how the Bible says that we used to live up to 1,000 years, but as we go further, get closer in time to where we are now, people started living shorter lives, and now we're only promised 120 years, but back in the day they were living 800, 900,000 years, right? So my understanding of one of the reasons why that happened, of why it happened like that with common sense, is because the Creator saw that, because remember, we're in a probationary period, and the Creator, in the best way I can, because remember I told you earlier how it said the Creator's a scientist trying to find the best way to populate the universe, or in this situation, what's the best way to run this science experiment, or to run this prison planet, or this probationary period. Remember, probationary periods are usually just periods you usually go to. Let's say for a job, let's say you're the probationary period of a job. It's them to watch you and to see at the end of the day, when they look at your work history during your probationary period of the job, to see what a good or bad job you did. They're going to use the information, the data that they took, to decide whether or not they're going to take you on as a full-time employee. So think about that's what this life is right now on Earth, on the prison planet, in a probationary period. Is that it's meant to be hell, family. It's not supposed to be easy, because you learn from adversity. When we're comfortable, family, we get set in our ways. When we get used to a routine, we don't want to change it up. We want to keep our routine. So that's why there are bad things happen. Part of the reasons why bad things are allowed to happen in life, because bad things teach us things. We learn from persecution. We grow from pain, family. Once again, this is not me telling nobody to go cut yourself or do something bad, or that's not what I'm saying. Like Yahusha said to the devil, when the devil said to Yahusha, well, God loves you to take care of you, jump off this mountain and won't he catch you? And Jesus said, don't tempt God. So I'm not telling nobody to go tempt the Creator. Don't go do nothing dumb to yourself or nobody else. So warning labels. So at the end of the day, you got free will. But people with wisdom, no, I'm not telling you to go do nothing crazy. I'm just trying to explain something, break something down. And I digressed too much and forgot again where I was. Let me see. Let me think. So anyway, you're not meant to live in your flesh forever, family. If you do, I was talking about the tree of life. Adam and Eve, the tree of life. Okay, so my point was, God saw that, these people can't handle living 1,000 years. That's too long. Because remember Noah, right? Remember Noah, when God told Noah that there's going to be a flood, there was 100, and I think it talks about this in the Quran as well as the book of Asher, that there was actually 100 years from the time when God first told Noah to build a ship because there would be a flood, and the flood itself. So Noah had 100 years to go around and warn people. And for 100 years, nobody listened. What did it say? People just went on with their lives back then. They didn't care. They didn't listen to nothing Noah said. Noah said there's a storm coming, and no one listened. And the thing is, family, what is sometimes we say about old people? They say at some point you can't tell old people nothing because they've lived a certain way for so long that they're not going to change their ways. They're set in their ways. So God said, the Creator said, man, 1,000 years I'm seeing, look, this is too much for them. Like, I need them to learn lessons, and they learn, and they get these whole personas within the first 100, maybe 200 years of their lives, and then they remain that person for the next 800 years, and they don't want to change. And all they doing is causing evil. Imagine, family, if you had a king, and this person was king for 1,000 years. So all your 1,000 years of life, this person was king. There was never no change. It was the same kingdom by the same laws. So God cut time of our lives down. But remember, we're in the Matrix. We're in like a, you remember the show X-Men, family? And the X-Men would go practice in that, like, let's say it's almost like that Star Trek holodeck, and the X-Men would go practice warfare in a virtuality. Well, that's what Earth is. Earth is a testing ground for us. And the Creator was like, yeah, this is too long for y'all. I need to cut this short. Y'all need to live shorter lives because remember, reincarnation, to go through lessons quicker and to learn more lessons. Because remember, family, 1,000 years, like I said, you get old, you don't change. You're going to live how you want to live. I hope this is making sense to y'all. So time is shorter now too. Part of it, family, look, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but remember, we were made for this time for a reason. So time is shorter, family. So it takes less time to go through multiple lives. Imagine if we were reincarnating, family, and we lived 1,000 years. Imagine living 1,000 years on welfare, Section 8, or living 1,000 years as a black person in America. Imagine, family, living 1,000 years in America as a black person under today's current U.S. government, or the government in the 50s and 60s, and how they treated our people during times of like Black Wall Street. Imagine living 1,000 years under a government that acted like that. It would be hell, wouldn't it? So what does the Bible say? The Most High cut time short for the elect to save them, to help them. I just realized something too as we going. Family, I didn't think about that too now. Where's it say in the Bible? If the Most High didn't make the day shorter, even the elect would perish. What's that? Because remember, family, in the Bible, what do we say? A day is what, 1,000 years in the Bible? Right? So the Most High cut time short. So that don't mean just one day. Remember, a day is 1,000 years. So remember, we supposed to live 1,000 years. So cut 1,000 years down to 120. Just saying, family. Look, see, the word changes as you get older. The word is alive. What is it? Anyway, y'all know what verse I'm talking about. It's in Revelations, and I think it says it. It might say it in more than just Revelation. It might say it in another spot. Hold on. I forget it. Bible verse. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. And while I'm waiting, because I want to pull up this verse. And what's the verse? Bible verse. Dang it, I hate when I be messing up typing, guys. And I forgot the word again, my bad. It says Matthew 24 verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So I know that has to do with the end of days. And yes, like people say, man, the day sure is getting shorter. Seems like the day going by fast, by perspective, which is true. But remember, family, there's a word is allegory, and there's meanings on top of meanings on top of meaning. There's what it means in black and white, but there's also the underneath lying meaning below that, the spiritual meaning as well. And this is why you read the Bible all your life, because it evolves as you get older. And as I apply it to this situation, family, the Most High cut the day short. Remember, in the Bible, a day is 1,000 years. We used to live 1,000 years. The Most High cut the time down from us living to 1,000 years, 120 years. Because he was like, 1,000 years is too long. Y'all can't take that. Y'all gonna suffer. So, and the more you live here, the more the enemy has the chance to taint you. So, in other words, we come in short periods of time now, of 120-year increments, And that gives you what? 1,000 years of 10 times? And then who knows what happens after 10 times. But I believe you have more than that to get it right, family. Maybe you get transferred to a different universe. Or maybe, like I spoke to y'all that one day, maybe your punishment will be being stuck in a human body on earth for eternity like you wanted to. Because that's what your flesh wanted. You want to be in the flesh, so you're going to live always in the Matrix. Remember, like the guy in the Matrix movie who betrayed everybody, and he told Agent Smith, look, I don't remember nothing. I just want to be rich and have women. Oh, he wanted to go back. He wanted to do what? He wanted to go live back in the Matrix. And unfortunately, some of our brothers and sisters love the flesh, and that's how much they love it, that they want to live forever and perpetually in the flesh. But what they really don't know is that's the reason why the Creator, once again, back to Adam and Eve and the tree of life and death and the tree of wisdom of good and knowledge. If Adam and Eve had ate the tree of life first and stayed in the state that they were at that moment forever, they would start to suffer, family. Because they wouldn't grow anymore. They would get, look, there's nothing in this life, family, that you don't get tired of. And I guarantee you, they would get tired of just eating fruit all day in the garden and talking to the same animals, just being naked all the time, doing the same thing. I guarantee you, they would get tired of it. Imagine perpetually being in that state for eternity. Just this garden with a bunch of talking animals. Yeah, it sounds fun at first, but after about year 100,000, 50, what else new is there? You're going to be bored out of your minds. Right? So the point is, and then also keep in mind, remember the game Grand Theft Auto, family, right? So if you ever play the game Grand Theft Auto, what do people do sometimes? Sometimes they go on, a lot of times what do people do? They play Grand Theft Auto and they go on like crime sprees. They go around stealing, shooting at each other, kidnapping. They do all types of stuff in the game Grand Theft Auto, right? Grand Theft Auto, right? Stuff they wouldn't do in real life. Why? Because in real life there's consequences. You could literally lose your own life, be deleted yourself doing these things, or end up in prison for years at a time, right? So you don't do these things in real life because there's consequences. Well, imagine if Adam and Eve ate the apple from the tree of life and death and they couldn't die. They would never learn anything because, family, when you die in Grand Theft Auto at first, remember, look, unless you've just been trying to beat a certain level and you get frustrated because you keep dying on the level and it's hard, right? Yeah, you get mad then and you get tired of it. But what I'm saying is, but not even in this situation, in that situation too, what I'm about to explain. If you never died, family, you wouldn't learn anything. The threat of being deleted, the threat of never existing again, gives life purpose. It gives you a reason to search. It gives you a reason to do things you wouldn't usually do. If you knew you could live forever, at some point, like I said, two things would happen. Laziness, like I said, you just sit around eating grapes all the time in the garden because everything's provided. Or in laziness, which leads to a lack of manifestation. Or you would manifest things, but you would manifest things truly only to things that would please you. And also, like in Grand Theft Auto, when you hurt someone, and let's say you delete someone in Grand Theft Auto, rob from someone, there's no consequences because you think, oh, that's just an NPC. I'll see them walking on the street again in a minute. They're going to come back. It doesn't matter. Or you don't take care of your life in the game Grand Theft Auto because you know if you die or or delete yourself, you're just going to come back to life, right? So truly, you're not really learning any lessons because you know that you can come back and do whatever you want. And matter of fact, too, what if there's no pain? Because you know you're not going to feel no pain. You know it's not real. If you knew the truth, you would act differently. If you knew you were immortal and couldn't die, family, you would act differently. Matter of fact, you can go read the books if you go read the books of Adam and Eve in the beginning. The books of Adam and Eve, there's books called the books of Adam and Eve. And in these books, it talk about how when Adam and Eve first got a body, they would jump off cliffs and try to kill them or delete themselves. But they couldn't hurt, but they couldn't die. So they suffered. They would just sit there in pain until their body healed because they didn't understand what it was to have a human body yet. And so the point, family, what I'm talking about is, if Adam and Eve ate from the tree of life first, they would essentially remain as children. They wouldn't learn anything. Death gives life purpose, family. Death gives you a reason to live. If you know that one day your life is going to end, most people are going to try to do something to make the best of the life they have. In other words, they're going to build experiences. And that's where the tree of knowledge of good and evil come. But without the tree of life, it's good that they ate that first, so that when they ate the knowledge of good and evil, they essentially chose to download into the game of Grand Theft Auto. That every time they restart, or reincarnation, you don't remember anything. So that you can learn whatever lesson that you set the level of your game. You know how in the game they have different settings like easy, normal, and hard, and they have different objectives. Well, every time you come to Earth, family, you come here to learn something. But let's say the first time you came to Earth, you wanted to be a king, and you were a king. But remember, as a king, remember, you're worshipped by people. You're pretty much taken care of like you're a god. You don't live a normal life. So imagine after you're done living as a king, you come back now to the earth in a different family, and you come as a poor person, right? But you know in your mind, in your heart, you used to be a king. If you remembered everything from your past life, family, it would interfere with whatever lesson you need to learn to be as a poor person, because you would always remember what it was to be a king, and it would always get in the way of whatever lessons. No, you need to start over as a poor person to understand what life is like as a poor person, to understand those lessons without anything holding you back, like memories from your past. I was talking to a neighbor the other day, and the most I was ministering more. Family, your memories, although your memories are good, remember the most valuable substance in the universe is memory, is experience. But when you're in the flesh and you're going through probation, family, memories can be an idol. They can become a hindrance. Like, for instance, maybe you're staying in a relationship with an abusive man or an abusive woman who cheat on you all the time, put their hands on you, but you too busy holding on to the memories of how they used to be in the beginning of the relationship, when y'all both still had butterflies in your stomach, when they were kind to you, nice to you, did stuff with you. But you keep holding on to that, letting them treat you bad, because you keep holding on to these old memories instead of realizing that life has changed, circumstances changed, this person has changed. These memories are no longer suiting me. Yeah, they'll never go away, and every now and then I could probably still think about them. But now these memories are holding me back, because that's why I won't leave this abusive relationship, because I'm too busy looking at what we used to do, who you used to be before you treated me like this. So it's the same thing for reincarnation, family. Old memories from your past life would stop you from learning now. So imagine, once again, you have 10 years. No, let's say you have 10 lifetimes within a 1,000-year period, each life being 120 years, right? So that gives you roughly about 10 tries, give or take. So in each of those times, remember, if you were just still going by the old live at 1,000 years, family, that's a whole long time. Let's say in that 1,000 years you're a king. That's 1,000 years of being a king, and nothing ever different than being a king. Or let's say you're born as a slave. That's 1,000 years as a slave. Nothing ever different than being a slave. Or let's say for that 1,000 years you decide to be a professional singer. 1,000 years you decide to be a rich professional singer, and that's all there is. For 1,000 years you're famous. For 1,000 years you're famous. There's nothing other than being famous. Or vice versa. 1,000 years as a plumber, or 1,000 years as an electrician, 1,000 years as a car salesman, or 1,000 years of aimlessly going from job to job. But you're still the same person. You just trying to for 1,000 years living paycheck to paycheck, trying to pay the rent, while other rich people just live 1,000 years as rich people. Think about how miserable that be, family. You think life is long now, life would really be long then. But the Most High cut it out like this. Guess what? 1,000 year, 10 chances, 10 choices. 1 year you're a poor man. That's a lesson. 1 year you're a king. You know what it is to be a king or a queen. Another year is a soldier. Another year is a cop. Another year is a doctor. I mean, well, not another year, but a family. Like, okay, never. One lifetime is a poor man. One lifetime is a king or queen. One lifetime is a man. One lifetime is a woman. One lifetime is a soldier. One lifetime is a cop. One lifetime is a teacher. One lifetime is a cook. One lifetime is a criminal. One lifetime is a church-going evangelical Christian. One lifetime is a Satanist. You know, just different lifetimes, but condense that down to 1,000 years or 120 divided by 1,000. And that's, like I said, 10 lifetimes or 9 lifetimes, give or take. You know, so it could be 10 lifetimes in 1,000 years. But y'all get my drift, family, right? For the elect's sake, the test was cut short because life is hard. It's like, imagine if you've been to jail before, family, and I've heard the story. I haven't been myself. God forbid I ever go. I don't want to go. But from stories from family members, people I know who've gotten like years of it, like maybe 2 years, 5 years, 8 years. It's like being in a rat. It's like being in a cage, like an animal being caged up for years at a time, not seeing the outside world. It's like going crazy. So essentially what I'm saying too is that's what your body will become if you never ascend, if you never pass over to go through a reincarnation period. Your body can, if Adam and Eve ate the apple first of the tree of life and death, their body would essentially become their prison, family. And they wouldn't be able to learn all the same lessons they would have learned if they would have only just had the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which comes with death. This is why we die, so we learn. And we come back as something or someone else or he or she, and we learn a different story until we ascend to the next level. It's all about ascending, family, to different heavens. Heaven means what? Sky, family, a difference in what's under a sky, land. In other words, different universes, different planes of existence. Every time, it's like the isekai from Japanese and anime. Every time we die, we move on to a different so-called heaven or under a different sky, a different universe, until we finally go where? Home, to the darkness, the beginning. I know I've been on this again, family. Like I said, this is going to be a long video. Look, and I still got a bunch of pictures stuff. It's just a movie. So anyway, let's keep going. So once again, in this scene, this is where Glinda passes the dark hat over to Elphaba. And what else did I want to say about this Elphaba? Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, so, oh no, this is my bad, family. If you still with me, remember you cut the video off and come back to it later. But like I was saying earlier, this is just a reminder that not only were our people possibly green, I'm not going to say for sure, but I know we were different colors. Oh, okay, also, let me say it like this. Going back to the beginning. When I was reading, remember, family, I read the book from what's it? I always forget these names. From Malachi Z. York. I read that book for you with Malachi Z. York. What is it, the Golden Tablets? The Holy Tablets by Malachi Z. York, right? Remember I was reading that book, family, The Holy Tablets by Malachi Z. York? And as I was reading it, family, I didn't stop because I was trying to just read through it because I know some people don't like when I explain things and cut it off. But as I was reading the Zohar, remember last year, family, I believe I was reading Zohar, or it was the year before that. But as I was reading that, during that time, the Most High had created this picture in my mind of the beginning of all things and how it works. And look at the Most High as, remember, like I said earlier, an infant, or the consciousness of an infant. So imagine, like, let's say you have a baby and you have a toddler. The toddler is like not even a year old and they're in their diapers, but you want to teach them how to paint. What's most, and let's imagine what happened. First of all, you put a piece of white paper. No, let's say in this case, let's say a piece of black paper, and you put this piece of black paper from your toddler, and then you give them a tray, and this tray has all the different colors of the rainbows of paint, and let's say water paint. What do you think this baby is probably going to do? And let's just say this situation, the baby's going to be a baby. The baby can't even walk yet. It can crawl or barely crawl. So what it's going to do is it's going to put his hands in the paint. And then what's it going to do with the paint? It's going to eventually find his way to put its hands on the black piece of paper. And what's going to happen when it first puts its fingers on the paper? It's going to make dots. Dots with what? The baby's fingers, with the tips of his fingers, right? So imagine that's the universe. That's when imagine when the consciousness of the Creator first became aware of itself and started turning the spiritual into the physical. Imagine one of the first steps was, even before audible tones were made or audible voices, it was just a dot. And the dot didn't even have color. It was, let's say, it was just an impression in itself. Okay, and then it started playing with that dot. And matter of fact, maybe it even started giving the dot different colors. But what colors does it know about? It only knows the darkness. So let's say the first color of that indentation of a dot was just maybe a shade darker, because it knows it's darker, or maybe a shade lighter. But nonetheless, as it got darker and lighter, you started, especially when it got lighter, you started doing with what? Different colors. So this indention that the Creator made within his conscience, this physical indention within the void or the spirit or the smoke or clouds, whatever you call it, eventually, like I said, imagine it went through different colors, but it's only going to go through from what it knows. But remember, first it knows darkness. So let's say in this case, it just did different shades of darkness. So let's say it's dark. Well, I guess that would, if it got darker, that would say that it's light. So I guess you could say that the shades got lighter, but remember, it's pure darkness. So honestly, no, it would still be a different color of darkness. It's just, I would say, a more, I guess if you're in the dark, anyway, my point is, before it came out with light colors, using common sense, if the Creator come from the darkness first, colors would come in dark shades first. And remember earlier I spoke about plants. When you watch some of these sci-fi movies, or the plants, or even really when you look underwater, when you look at the animals underwater, when lights are underwater, they tend to have sometimes a blue-green shade, right? Kind of color tone. And sometimes in these sci-fi movies, in the caves, the plants kind of glow with a bluish, greenish color. So my point is, coming out of darkness, or remember how sometimes people say that person is so dark they look like they purple, or even green, or even blue. So what I'm saying is, these are the first colors that came out of the darkness, not necessarily white. It will be darker tone colors like blue, green, or brown. So with that understanding, and then remember the dot too. Now let's say now the Most High took the dot and decided, what else can I do with this dot? Maybe I can stretch it out. The Most High stretches out. Or maybe the Most High made more dots and say, you know what? I can stretch these dots out and connect them, and I can make lines. Or maybe I can continue to interfere with these lines, and now I can make circles. Now the Creator's making different shapes, and now the creator is turning these shapes into different colors, and now the Creator's taking these different shapes and colors and making different planes of existence, making worlds, making skies, making thunder, making food, making people of different colors, shapes, and sizes. So my point is, family, when people say, once again, I am made in the image of the Most High, or the word says that we are made in the image of the Most High, it doesn't. If we were truly made in the image of the Most High, we would be smoke. We're not made, when it's saying that we're made in the image of the Most High, it doesn't mean a physical image. It's talking about the mind of the Most High. It's talking about the wisdom and knowledge and the applied knowledge of the Most High Creator. The mind of the Creator is a righteous mind, a mind of creation, a mind of hard work, a mind that is here to till the garden. It is not in a physical shape. And that's another thing. That's people really, what I'm saying right now, this is really people's selfishness and ignorance. That we want the Most High to look like us sitting on a throne above all things, that the Most High has to look like us. That's really our selfishness. But the Most High allows us to do as we will, to draw, like what is one of the commandments? Don't draw pictures of things in heaven, right? Because when you draw things of pictures in heaven and worship them as idols, now you're worshiping a man with a beard sitting on a throne above the earth, when that's not at all what the Creator looks like. The Creator is the void, is the darkness, the smoke. The closest thing can come to it is a cloud, I guess, or smoke or air that you can see when it's all condensed in an area. So the image, being made in the image of the Most High, family, once again, remember, the Most High is a spirit, and your spirit comes from who? The Most High. So the true you is what? A spirit. So the true image of the Most High that it's talking about is you as a spirit. But a spirit has what? Wisdom, has knowledge. A spirit carries itself as a spirit, or an angel. If you call yourself an earth angel or a disciple of the Most High, then you live as a spirit. You don't live by the flesh. By your womanly or manly flesh. You live by the spirit inside of you, and the spirit calls for righteousness. If it's truly a spirit from the Most High, it calls to live a righteous life. It calls to have the mind of the Most High, which is creation, but underneath a set of laws and guidelines, which the Word gives us, the 10 Commandments. Or as Yahushua said, what are the 2 greatest commandments? To love the Creator all your heart and do unto others as you have them do unto you. And those 2 commandments encompass all the commandments, right? So, I hope I kind of explained that, family, with the tree of life and why it's good that Adam and Eve didn't actually eat the apple. No, didn't eat the fruit from the tree of life and death, because they would have lived forever and wouldn't learn anything. Death gives life purpose, family. I know it sounds horrible, but remember, when you get to our level and have this wisdom, if you're still in this video with me and understand, you understand that even though our flesh dies, the true you, your soul, doesn't die. That experience never dies. That experience just goes back to source. And you go on your consciousness, your soul, your spirit is who, my spirit is who I am now. Elijah is my spirit now on this earth. But the real me, my soul, leaves that spirit of Elijah, who I am now, when I go back to myself, when I wake up. Because then I prepare to live a different life, if that's the will of the Most High, unless maybe I'll be used as a guardian angel or used as an angel in the kingdom, or I'll go to a different universe and maybe live in the bodies of blue people, or I'll be a woman, or I'll be a king, or I'll live in a different universe as a powerful wizard, or maybe I'll be some type of beastly looking thing. You know, maybe I'll look like one of the Na'vi from Avatar on a different world somewhere. But that's what I'm saying. That's what our souls can do, family. Is our souls, your spirit, who you are now. Let's say your name is Tisha. That's your spirit. The spirit of Tisha. And that spirit is an encompassing of all of Tisha's life. From the time she was born to the time she died at 120 as an old woman. That spirit is a combination of all her experiences. So when we call on, family, and we pray and we invoke the spirits of Jesus, or the spirits of Elijah, or the spirits of John, the spirits of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're invoking a personality. You're invoking their life, family, their history. You're evoking who they were upon this earth at that time. But there's a difference between your spirit and your soul. When your soul once again leaves here, family, you leave your spirit behind. You leave that personality, that persona here, and you take on a new persona in your new life, which is why you forget your past life once again. You can't have a new persona if you're too busy remembering who you were in a past life. That's why when I watch movies like spy movies, the spies talk about, is it easy living this life? Because they're living a double life. They're pretending to be someone else when they're really born as this person. And the lines get blurred and things get confusing because you're born as this person, but you're living this life as a spy as this person. And but it's making it hard to do your job as a spy and live the life as who you're supposed to be as a spy, because your old life in your mind and your mental is always affecting and trying to rear its ugly head. So once again, why you forget during reincarnation? Because you can't learn if you're too busy dwelling on who you used to be and what you used to have. Remember, we're very good at making things into idols and idol worship, right? So anyway, let's get back to the video. I know, see, I digressing a lot. But these are things I've been thinking about, and I ain't talked in a minute, and this is everything. I'm just going through everything I talked about. But anyway, my point was, family, we could have been green, or we could have been blue people. And also what I was thinking is, this is almost like too a thought in my mind of a confirmation that there were two back in the day. Yes, we all come from the darkness, but there are many different creatures or beasts or species that the Creator created, and He gave us our different habitats. Like we have the green people and the, hold on, family. Dang it, something, hold on, family. Okay, give me a second. Something is going on here. Oh, that's what was wrong. My bad. That was my fault. But anyway, we were the green people or we were the blue people, right? And I want to we're going to go through some verses now. So it said, but there was separation. We had two different habitats, right? And this is what I'm talking about. It says in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 through 30. Then God said, I give you, hold on. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, hold on. Wait, where am I at now? Oh, yeah, no, I put this in the wrong place, I think. Hold on, let me see. Well, let me read this anyway, because this goes with it. So Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 through 30. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. Oh, so anyway, I wanted to use that as well, family, because what I wanted to explain to y'all was, if we were to Exodus right now, family, remember the term too, you are what you eat. So if we eat green things, don't you think that will be part of it? Because I know, remember, the air, family, remember the earth back before the flood. Imagine it being a very lush jungle, right? And remember, the Most High playing with colors. So imagine a world. Have you ever seen one of those movies where the people went to a planet and the planet, let's say, was a certain shade? Like, let's say it had a really gray shade. Like, it had plants and animals, but everything was the same shade of gray, right? Or the shade of orange, or shade of brown. Even the animals, everything was literally the same drab, same color. So imagine once again the Creator creating this earth and not really having every color that He knows yet, or it knows. So it's just creating an environment. And in this environment, it creates a forest, and it has a different bunch of shapes of plants. But the most main color is green. So then the creatures are also going to be what? Green. So we were green. And we were also blue because we're in the ocean. And we have two different habitats. And also everything we ate was green. And God said, see, I've given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the, I'm trying to remember, family, because I had these, I know, look, that was kind of nothing in a way, the way I said it. Because like, okay, it didn't prove nothing. But look, I'm trying to remember, because remember, I've been talking for a minute. And I know I had these verses for a reason. And let me just go through and read them. And God said, Genesis 29, but this is, the first version was New International Version and New King James Version. Oh, okay. Let me go back. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds in the sky, all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. But food also is what, family? It's sustenance, right? And now this is the New International Version, New King James Version. And God said, see, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seeds. To you it shall be for food, also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life. I've given every green herb for food, and it was so. Sustenance, right? And on Google, sustenance meaning food and drinking, regarded as source of strength, nourishment. Poor rural economies turn to potatoes for sustenance. Similar nourishment, food. Nutrition, fare, diet, daily bread, the maintaining of someone or something in life or existence. He kept 2 or 3 cows for the sustenance of his family. Support, maintenance, keep, means of support, means living, livelihood, subsistence, income, source of income. Sustenance, a sustaining or being sustained. One's means of livelihood, maintenance, support. That which sustains life, nourishment, food. A sustenance, and this is the biblical definition, KJV dictionary. Support, maintenance, sustenance, as the sustenance of the body, sustenance of life. That which supports life, food is sustenance, victuals, provisions. This city has ample sustenance. Or, yes, food is sustenance. Sustenance is food or drink that keeps someone alive and healthy. It can also refer to the energy and other things food provides to keep people and animals strong. Synonymous with sustenance includes alignment, food, nourishment, and pabulum. Okay, anyway. So, my point is with all this is I want you to understand, remember, family, the Bible is written in allegories. So remember I said earlier, there are many different layers and many different meanings of things. And you should read the word all through your life because it transforms. It's alive. What it meant when you were 20 is not what it's going to mean when you're 30. And as I'm reading it today and I'm going through this story that the Most High is writing, or this truth, I'm going to call it, this knowledge that the Most High has downloaded me today, as I watched the movie Wicked and the girl who's green. And I'm telling these stories of how the creator started. I'm drawing this picture, family, of, you know how sometimes we watch these movies, we call them fantasy movies like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, where it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Or when you watch fantasies about goblins and orcs and fairies and elves. Family, this is the pre-flood world. So I'm trying to get your imagination in this to understand. Remember it. The Most High, you are in the mind of the Most High. The start of magic, the start of power is your mind. Everything starts in your mind, your imagination, the things you think about, the things in your mind that you put to paper or you put to work. And what I'm trying to say is, what I understand now as I read these things, when it says sustenance, the earth, family, one of our issues as people, why we've fallen, is because we've adopted a so-called civilized, man-made European mindset and traditions and how we live. We have adopted the beast system. Remember, family, humans, people, we're beast. We're part of the beast class. And I'll read that, and I've done videos where I talked about this and where I showed you we're beast, but I'll do it a second again. But just for the sake of listening and moving forward, we're part of the beast class. And imagine when the garden, Adam and Eve were first put in the garden, and it's two people, and they have the run of the whole earth, do what they want. There's no schools, there's no colleges, there's no grocery stores, there's no cars, there's no roads. There's not even the concept of a kingdom yet, or the concept of a group of people coming together to do things, because it's just the two people. So they lived naturally off of the earth. Everything that they needed, the Creator gave them. And what I'm saying is, family, where we've gone in life now, we've let the enemy trick us into living in their cities, into living the so-called modern way, to where we believe God isn't the same today as God was yesterday. They got us living in these apartments and houses that look like boxes, and they're made of cut down trees, and they have chemicals everywhere like plaster, and the foundation of every house is what? Cement. And then we walk on cement all day, and what man-made shoes that are made of rubber with chemicals in them. We put clothes on us that are made out of chemicals that harm us. We eat food full of chemicals that harm us. We're all day we walk around with radio waves from towers hitting us. We're always watching TV. We're always playing video games. We're always in cars driving around on tar. We sit in man-made chairs all day. We're always breathing in air conditioning. We're living these modern day lives built by technology, and at the most some of us got plants in our house. But we're constantly living in man-made structures that aren't in alignment with nature. Everything we do, we just destroy nature. We destroy the natural form of things. We destroy the natural order of things for a artificial way of life. And it's affecting our minds and our bodies and our spirits. It's affecting our actual powers. Just like you saw in the video, what did he say? That we used to be green, but we lost a certain nutrition or something like that to where it turned our skin brown. And look where we are now. Look at the environment that we've subjected ourselves to. Family, we're supposed to be grounding. Family, I want you to think about this. And this came to me earlier too, family. Imagine you lived in a forest and you didn't have no TVs, no cell phones, no radios. You just lived naturally. Everything you needed all your life, the forest has provided to you. Let's say you live with one other person. Family, do you not know that the forest would talk to you? That you would be so used to living in the forest and only having the signs of the forest that you would literally understand the language of the forest would talk to you? That the trees would tell you things, that the plants, just like in Lord of the Rings. Because that's all you would know. You would have to learn the language of the forest. You would be like the animals, sensing when things happen. Because you would be so in tune with the forest. This is how we're supposed to live, family. Now, look, not saying not without technology, not saying without comfort. Because we're people. We have the mind of the Most High. We have the wisdom. So yes, we would still build homes. Not saying we'd be dirty. We'd have carpets. We'd have comfortable beds and pillows and stuff. But we would work more on what we need and not what we want. Comfort would come second to practicality. And then would come comfort. So what I'm saying is we would still have comfort, but we would not be excessive. Like, for instance, think about America. In what other time in history did people have stores like, let's say, Walmart or even Toys R Us or the mall? Like stores where you can go in and like just buy random things that you don't need for survival. Like there's a little toy store with video games and all stuff that you don't need for survival. Like it's not back in the day where everybody better be out in the food planting, otherwise we gonna starve for the winter. Like we actually have enough free time to play video games, to surf the internet, to sit here and listen to my podcast right now, if you want to call it that, or my teaching. We can go to the store and buy some Nikes. We can go to Ross and buy shirts and jackets and other shoe brands. We have choices in shoe brands, different styles. We were able to just make random things, family, that have nothing to do with our survival. What a blessing. What a time to live in. But if we were truly living the natural way, like I said, it's not that we wouldn't invent. We would just be a lot more practical with our inventions. Things would be more helpful, and it wouldn't be things that destroyed the environment. It'd be I'd say a more not homogenous, but it'd be a more self-sustaining society, a more peaceful society, a more in tune with nature society. There'd be technology, but it'd be a more nature-y technology. And once again, family, I'm as I'm going through this, I remember about a year or so back, I was watching this show called Doctor Who. And on this episode, Doctor Who took the girl into the future, I think millions of years in the future, and on Earth. He took her millions of years into the future on Earth, and human life had basically evolved or died off. And these are some of the creatures that evolved from humans. And one of these creatures, as you see, it's a so-called black woman. And she comes from a tree, brown skin. So what if everything was green at first? Would we not be green? And don't these guys in the black almost kind of look a little bit of green? And she almost got, like he said in the video, that we look brown, but we're really actually green. And this is the show Doctor Who, Season 1, Episode 3. It is called End of the World. Right? And I want you to just hear what he said. And you see where I paused it right here. At the time, it says, I give you in return air from my lungs. Air is what? Life. Air helps what? The plants grow. And what did he say in the video? Our skin, we have a lot of oxygen. So because of all the oxygen, our blood is green and blue. Right? Matter of fact, well, after this, we'll go back and watch that first video to see what he said again, because I know I've been talking for a minute. But I want to show you this scene from here.
The gift of peace. I bring you a cousin of my grandfather.
Thank you. Yes, gifts. I give you in return, and from my lungs.
And what did he say? I give you in return again. What did she do, family? She cut off a piece of her grandfather, she said, who was a tree, and was literally giving that to this man, a piece of her grandfather's body, as a gift. And he gave her what back? The breath of life, as if he's God in a way, kind of symbolic. But nonetheless, you see where I'm going, family. She's from the earth. They came from the earth. She's a citizen of the earth, a so-called black woman who looks like a tree. Which goes back to the blue, or this green woman right here, this sister. Why she's green? Because we're going back to the beginning. Our people used to be different shades, different colors. Hold on. And also remember, you are what you eat. We ate a lot of what? Green. A lot of green things, plants. So, and then plants have what in them? Water and air. Come on, family. Look, I hope y'all see the picture. I know, look, I'm pretty sure if I did a little deeper diving, I can give you the chemical formulas and explain this. But I'm shooting from the hip right now. I just got these screenshots together today to explain this story, and we're just gonna keep going. But I want to watch that video again from the beginning.
Our true skin color is green, not brown. We are brown because we lost the 12th element called magnesium, and that magnesium was replaced with iron, so we rusted from green to brown. Our body is made up of 70% water. When you mix iron with the water and oxygen, you get the color brown, which is rust. This is why most cultures depict their deity as having green skin, such as Osiris and Ptah, and blue skin, as you see Krishna. Most Nubian babies are also born with green Mongolian spots. Our blood was also green, chlorophyll, which is why we have green veins. And if you place a ring on your finger and cut off the oxygen, your finger is going to be green, which tells you that our true skin color is green. Our cells also contain a pigmentation called chromatophore. Chromatophore gave us the ability to change color and camouflage into any environment and hide from predators, just like lizards and reptiles do. So as the planet Earth was growing, everything was alive, and our skin was green. Our blood was chlorophyll. There was no dying or death or diseases because everything was alive. There were no poisonous plants until 36 million years after, because we were not born to die. We were born to grow and expand our consciousness and grow into many suns and travel beyond the stars, becoming one with all. Our true skin color is green.
Okay, we went through that story again. Now let's keep going. So remember, allegory, that's what I want to tell you. Sustenance. Food doesn't just mean eat, family, but substance. I'm trying to tell you that everything around us, every plant, was for us to interact with, family. Was for us to use for clothing. You know, what did he say? Every plant feeds the animals too. What do lambs eat, family? Where we get our wool from. Lambs eat the cud, the dirt of the ground. Plants is where we truly get our substance. And then, anyway, family, and that's why we ground. That's why we eat certain green foods. Even our houses should be made. Have you ever heard of an earth ship, family? Look up an earth ship, and you'll understand what I'm saying too when it comes to how we build a home. Or think about hobbits. Remember in Lord of the Rings how the hobbits live? They live in huts in the ground. Everything's for a reason, family. And just because you live in a hut in the ground don't mean you live dirty. Doesn't mean you have to live like an animal. You could live civilized. It's just how you build the house. It's the structure. Look, we like to live like Europeans. Simple as that. But let's keep going.
The gift of peace. I bring you a cousin of my grandfather.
Thank you. Yes, gifts. I give you in return, and from my loss.
Now let's go on. And if you want to know what show, it's called the oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, Doc, The Unquiet Dead. Okay, never mind. The Unquiet Dead, Season 1, Episode 3, Doctor Who. So if you want to know about this episode, The Unquiet Dead, Doctor Who, Season 1, Episode 3. So that's the episode. Okay, also I want to bring up, family, on Big Levi, Big Judah, but mostly Big Judah and Abdullah this here. We hear in their channels they speak a lot about the Druids and how the Druids are actually the ancestors of the Israelites, right? So, but this also is why I'm bringing up the girl who's green. This is because the Druids is like, remember, family, what did it say? Do you know the beginning now that you're looking for the end? This is our beginning, family, when our people were more in tune with nature. But today, remember, the enemy makes everything look bad. They call everything witchcraft, when that's not what it is. It's our people and how we used to carry ourselves. The mysteries and knowledge, like how they used to teach in Egypt in the mystery schools. This all came from our people. And we did it for a reason. We lived a certain way. We lived closer to nature. And that's why I want to show this picture of the Druids in the tree. And remember the tree in Avatar, family? And remember what I said earlier. Imagine, family, if we didn't have all the technology in the way, in shape and fashion that it is today and how we use it. If we were more in tune with the wilderness, the trees would literally talk to us. The trees would be representation of our elders because the trees lived for thousands of years. We would take more care of the trees because we would understand how much wisdom and knowledge run through the trees because of how old they are. The things these trees have seen, the things these trees have experienced. Trees are like our elders. And we would treat them and say, this is why Abdul Nasir was talking about how, and I'm pretty sure Big Judah probably said it too, but they would hold spiritual service, our ancestors, around trees. Because trees, remember, even Adam and Eve, the story, the symbology of the tree of life and death, the tree of good and evil. Because trees are like pieces of history. Trees have a lot of energy and life and wisdom running through them. And once again, if we lived back in the day, family, and we didn't have all these distractions that we have today with technology and life, I guarantee the forest would talk to us, family. We could talk to the trees. And they would give us so much knowledge and wisdom if we knew how to truly tap into that type of power or that type of understanding or that way of life. Remember, family, we're undoing hundreds, probably thousands of years of just brainwashing our people all the way up till today. We are the end result, or for every action there's reaction. We are the end result of our forefathers, of our ancestors. Their choices, every choice, whether good, bad, so-called evil, good, have led us to where we are today in this society. But I'm trying to give y'all just a glimpse back to who we used to be, who this green witch or wicked is, and what they're trying, what the Most High said. Like, family, if we exodus today, if something was to exodus, let's say if we exodus the old school way, we would be going back to where? The wilderness. And the wilderness is what? The forest, the untamed areas of the earth, the unmolested areas of the forest, the rainforest, of the deserts, of just the wilderness, and we build a new community. And if we're truly doing it by the word, in a righteous way of doing it by the way of the garden, family, we'd be working with nature and not just rebuilding Babylon or what beasts think is comfortable in this beast system. Family, we're living in the beast system. Everything about our way of life is the beast system, because everything is harmful to not only our bodies, which is important, but also to the environment around us, to the earth that the Most High gave us to till and to take care and to look after. And I'm not talking about global warming. I'm just talking about in general. We're being disrespectful to Mother Earth. When we should be communing with Mother Earth. We should work with Mother Earth. But we rather destroy it for our own selfish reasons. Here's another one. Look at the man, the druid. What, he got a staff, just like who had a staff? Yahusha had a staff, Moses had a staff, Elijah had a staff. Come on now. The staff is a symbol of wizards of the Most High, but righteous wizards. Yahusha was a wizard. Elijah was a wizard. Moses was a wizard. Elijah was a wizard. Elisha was a lizard, whichever, well, both the Elijahs. You know, I'm pretty sure John Baptist probably had a staff too. But nonetheless, these staffs are representations of powerful wizards that serve the Most High, family. Not no wizards that are out here serving Mammon or Lucifer or any of these other deities. I'm talking about who serve the Creator, who serve the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's what Elijah was, a wizard that served the Most High Creator. That's what Yahusha was. That's what Moses was, a wizard with a staff that served the Most High Creator. And these are our ancestors. Y'all should look at the newest video by Abdullah the Seer called The Christian. He got some good information on the Druids. Once again, our people, and see them wearing the green. Almost symbolism too, like we were green. Remember the green skin, pointing to who we were. And look at them just in the wilderness, in nature, in tune with nature. The women got it in their hairs. The men have it around their necks. Green people working with nature. But just, a lighter skin tone. But, it's all good. Look, if they live by the word of the Most High, if they live by those ways, look, these are my brothers and sisters too. As long as they do the will of the Most High. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. And here's another one. You see the tree? Look at them dancing around the tree. These kind of look like Africans. But look, you see, dancing around the tree. The tree of what? Life. But yeah, the power and the wizard. Anyway, this image, and then also, I know y'all seen this. This is supposed to be an image of the Freemason people, the Illuminati, the politicians, and the actors and the entertainers when they go to these events of the rich people in the middle of the forest, and they be doing these ceremonies. Understand, they've stolen this from our people, family. And this is not me telling people to go out and go do stuff like this. I'm not saying, look, just like Moses and Elijah and Yahushua had to prove themselves. Before you go do anything, you got to prove to the Most High that you can be trusted by the Most High. This goes back to what I'm saying, family. This is kind of like, and I've mentioned before, what would the world be like if everybody just got powers like Superman today? The world would be a horrible place because people would be stealing, robbing, going around trying to hurt people, doing all types of things because they've never had this power before. They can't be trusted with it. So as Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. Are you responsible enough for the gifts that the Creator can give you to do as Yahushua said in the Bible? Yahushua said, you will do the things that I've done and even greater. And what did Yahushua say? Heal the sick, raise the dead. He multiplied bread and fish and fed hundreds of people, thousands of people. So what would you, if you got those same powers as Yahushua today, what would you do it? Would you monetize it, heal people for $1? Would you take your power to multiply things and use it to multiply money and gold and go on shopping sprees to buy stuff for yourself? What would you use with the power that the Most High gave you? How would you use it? So once again, I'm not telling nobody to go study magic or do all this and that, although it's all around us and it started with so-called black people, which is why they call it what? Black magic. Everything that is bad, they put the word black on it. Everything that has to do with us, they want to be bad, which is why they call us black. But in truth, this is the powers the Most High gave us. This is why our women were healers. And our men were mighty warriors who were 1 or 5 men can cause hundreds or thousands to run before their sword. Because we had powers, family. Because we were in tune with nature, with the universe. We knew the truth. And we were different colors. We had people that came from the water. We had people that come from the earth. The ones in the water were blue. And the ones who live more near the ocean or in the water were blue. Like Avatar. And then we had our people who lived in the forest. Remember Nahor, who were green like the witch lady. Hold on, now let me keep going. Like I said, family, the movie Wicked it's a message to so-called black people. It's a message about what time we live in and where we're going. The crown has been passed. The wisdom has been passed. One state of a people has been traded with another state of the people. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Let me read it again. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Remember, separated. You got the blue people, the water people. And then you got the forest people, the earth people, living in the forest. Or, let's go ahead and go back to our sister. The green people, the forest people, so-called black people. Or our sister right here, the tree woman. And even with the different colors, I'm going to read it to you. Hold on, we don't go in the Bible. And I want to explain something I explained before. And I'm going to read it from 2 different versions. I'm going to read it from this New International Version. And I'm going to read it from my Sefer as well. And when I remember, family, the Bible, I've said this, it's a code book. The Bible is a grimoire. The Bible is a collection of magical teachings and lessons and history. If you know how to study through it, if you know how to look through it, if you know what signs to look for, if you don't just get stuck in only the books of the Bible and you don't venture out and read other books like Enoch and the Apocrypha, or the book of Jasher, or the Sealed Portion, or the Book of Mormon, or even other books of knowledge from the past, right? Then certain things you won't understand, certain things won't pop out to you. But let me start at, give me a second. I brought this up for a reason. And God said, let the waters swarm with fish. And, hold on. This all happened on the fourth day. I'm going to start at Genesis chapter 1, verse 20. And God said, let the waters swarm with fish and other life. Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind. So God created great sea creatures and every sort of fish and every kind of bird. Remember, he separated the water from the earth, right? Okay? He created earth and then water. And what did he say? And God said, let the waters swarm with fish and what? Fish and what? Other life. Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind. So God created great sea creatures and every sort of fish and every kind of bird. He created great sea creatures. Creatures can be what? Yeah, you could say it's a blue whale, but it doesn't just say blue whale. It didn't, remember, don't add to or take away. So don't take away in the sorts of you take other creatures away or other creations just because you don't see it today on the earth, or science hasn't told you it existed, as if the government and these entities have never lied before and don't lie even continuously today. And God said, let the waters swarm with fish and other life. Let the skies be filled with birds of every kind. So God created great sea creatures and every sort of fish and every kind of bird. And God saw that it was good. Then God blessed them, saying, let the fish multiply and fill the oceans. Let the birds increase and fill the earth. This all happened on the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth every kind of animal, livestock, small animals, and wildlife. And so it was. God made all sorts of wild animals, livestock, and small animals, and each able to produce more of its own kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let us make people in our image to be like ourselves. They will be masters over all life, and the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the livestock, wild animals, and small animals. So God created people in his own image. God patterned them after himself, male and female, and he created them. When you read this, family, also you can read it from the mind of when it's saying God created people. It says, then God said, let us make people in our image to be like ourselves. So, see how it's saying this. Then God said, let us make people who were already there in our image to be like ourselves. So in other words, here what God is saying, see this animal that we call man, but let them make us in our image to be like ourselves. So who, in other words, family, the question is, who is ourselves? It's someone outside of these people, which means it's someone that people are not like, but they're going to make them like in what? Ourselves image. So the people don't look like ourselves, otherwise you wouldn't have to make them in your image. But this is why I say the image doesn't mean the physical image. When it says we're made in the image of God, it does not mean the literal image of the Creator itself, which is spirit, which is everything, which is the substance seen and unseen, which is the void, the nothingness. This great sky is the Creator. But it's not talking about the physical image, because if that was, this is not what we look like. We would look more like our true selves, which is our soul, which is an energy force that has no shape or necessarily no shape or no form, but it's just an energy. But once again, it says, then God said, let us make people in our image to be like ourselves. So in other words, like I told you, the image of God is, imagine if humans were like any regular day animal where they don't really have a sense of self or understanding that they're individual beings. Remember, animals just act off nature. They hunt, they eat, they sleep, they use the bathroom, they procreate. That's it. They don't go to school. They don't really have a reason for living other than to eat, sleep, and procreate. I mean, they have other meanings, but just on the surface, right? So imagine if humans were those animals, where we were just naked. Like, remember it says that Adam and Eve were in the garden at first and they were naked, right? And then they did what? They ate apples from what? The tree of good and evil. In other words, or the tree of the wisdom of knowledge of good and evil. In other words, the tree of wisdom, which gave knowledge to do things. So imagine they were like, people were like mindless animals at first. But then the Most High gave them wisdom. And as they try to teach us in evolution that people evolved from monkeys, that we started to do what? Walk upright and create, and we invented what? The will. So imagine it like that. Like, they put truth in everything, family. It's just, but you gotta pair that truth with the word, with the Bible, as well as the other readings and the other spiritual teachings. And then you'll start to see the picture. And then hold on. So like it says, then God said, let us make people. Yes, so anyway, family, being made in the image of God is not your physical body. It's your mind, it's your spirit, it's how you carry yourself. It's what you do with your wisdom. What do you create? Remember, the true mark, I told y'all before, the mark of the beast, family, is your mind. Are you going to live in a beastly way, or are you going to live in the way of a righteous person? Remember, heaven is in you. You are a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. It's not, the heaven is not a place. It's not buildings. If it is a place, it's because a group of us got together and created a place. But even then, if we decided to up and leave that place we created, the kingdom of heaven would no longer be in that place, because the kingdom of heaven comes with us wherever we go, because we are the kingdom of heaven. We're the citizens. Without the citizens, there is no kingdom of heaven, because the kingdom of heaven is an idea of a kingdom where people live by the laws of the Most High Creator, and it's by choice. So let's keep going. And now I'm going to read from the Sefer, Genesis, to show you what it says in the Sefer. And remember, the Sefer is supposed to be a more proper translation from the original. So let's go to, Genesis. And I'm going to start at verse. And Elohim set them in the expanse of the heavens. Okay, in the evening and the morning was the fourth day. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open expanse of heaven. And Elohim created great sea monsters, and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And remember, at this point, it doesn't even point out fish. It just says creatures and monsters. So what are creatures? Well, remember, even when it comes to cattle, family, there are different species of cattle. There are different species of creepy crawling things, like ants and roaches and caterpillars or worms. Or different types of fish like carp, catfish, bass, whiting. Different type of birds, chickens, penguins, parrots, macaws, eagles. And after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Now verse 22 of chapter 1 of Genesis. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful, multiply, and fill up the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. In the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth living creature after, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind. Now we were talking about the water. Remember, we were talking about the creatures that live in the water. Now we're talking about the creatures that live on earth. Remember, it said it separated earth from water. Okay, now it's talking about water has their creatures and living beings, Atlanteans with blue skin, and earth has their people, Earthians with green skin or brown skin. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind. Hold on, let me read that. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and talking about the different creatures now. Cattle, which are different. Cattle has different. There's different types of cattle. You got cows, you got oxen, you got horses can be cattle, and creeping things. Creeping things, once again, roaches, ants, things of that nature. And beast of the earth after his kind, or maybe a horse is a beast. I don't know. Let me not put it in, but anyway. But you got oxen, and you got cows, you got bulls, which are cattle, but different species, or different types, different species. And Elohim made the beast of the earth. Okay, hold on. Okay, no. And it was so. And Elohim made the beast of the earth after his kind. Oh no. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beast of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image. So understand. Remember, there's different. He said cattle and creeping thing. Remember, we got the fish and the fowl, right? And the sea monsters. And now and that's in the water. But now on land we have what? We have cattle and creeping things. And we explain what cattle. So beasts are lions, elephants, zebras, giraffes, wolves. And then that's what he said, beast and his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Hold on. He said, and Elohim made the beast of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. Where did man come from? Remember, he just spoke about all these different classes. Remember, cattle has different types of cattle. Creeping things, different types of creeping. So beasts have different types of beasts. And then Elohim said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So they already have a likeness, and they're looking at this creature called man, and now they want to turn man, who was already there, and take man and make them into who? Their likeness. Who is they? Who is their likeness? Who is our likeness? And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. So they're going to make man into their likeness. In other words, wise beings, beings of wisdom and knowledge. So they're going to take the beast called man, and they're going to give them wisdom and knowledge so that they can do what? Have dominion over the fish of the sea. And over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing, the bugs upon the earth. But you know who he didn't say? The beast. In other words, people have free will because people are beasts. And last time I checked, yes, some people domesticate lions and bears, but best believe they respect those bears and those lions. Some of them, they have them in prison and zoos, but guess what? Everybody can't go into those pens because those animals will attack and kill. But then some people raise animals and lions with respect, and you can take people around them. But they know that, remember, people always tell you what, remember, these are what? Wild animals. No matter how much you sit there and try to domesticate a bear or lion, there's still a chance that one day they'll attack you. Because at heart, they're truly wild beasts. They can never be tamed truly by people. It just depends on the animal's awareness. Anyway, but then again, bears and lions are nothing like, they're the same as, let's say, a slave during the time of black slaves in America. They're brainwashed. That's all they know, especially if it's a wild beast born in captivity. The same thing that happened with black slaves. Remember, black slaves back in the day weren't able to read or write. Why? Because that was part of the process of taking their history away, their heritage. so that they can be molded and shaped into the likeness of the master, or the way the master wanted them to be. Like can be done to bears and lions who used to be wild but now are tamed beasts as slaves, as pets. And the same thing for slaves, or so-called black people slaves during that day. My people's knowledge and wisdom were taken from them, our history, so that we were made in the image of our masters, the European, the colonizers. Understand, fam? Like I said, I hope y'all following me. But I just want to show y'all that, to show y'all what he's talking about. So when I bring up different creatures, once again, family, it also brings up what other creatures were there in the earth that they didn't tell us about. What else are they not telling us about? And you see how vague it is. It doesn't say a skin tone. When I'm reading the Bible, right, it doesn't say a skin tone. So how you know the people weren't green? How you know they weren't blue? It's very vague. It just says that there were creatures, or there were a beast. But it didn't say how many different kinds of beasts there were. But it says they're making beasts in their likeness. In whose likeness? In whose likeness are you making these beasts? In whose likeness are you making these beasts called man? Because obviously they're already there, but you want to change them to be like what? Like who? Like you? Who are you? And in what way are you making them look like you? Anyway, let's keep going. And I also want to show some of these images. As I was watching the movie, as I was going through looking for stuff to go talk about this movie, family, and I'm looking at the images, look at the message of this. It says everyone deserves a chance to fly. And remember how I told you Glinda didn't have powers? Glinda, who represents who? The white people, the European races, or the status quo. And look who's up flying. Remember I told you, in this movie, she's not wicked, family. She doesn't act like the witch in the Wizard of Oz that we all know and grew up with. She's kind here. She's a righteous black woman right here. And look, she's bending down to help who? Glinda up. Who later on you find out in the movie, like I said, when you see how the people in the land act, you'll be like, they ain't no different than the people in the world today. It's a lot of imagery, family. Like I said, I don't know if they meant to make this movie like this, but at the end of the day, look, everything's the will of the Most High. But did they mean to do this? To put these messages in front of us? Or is this the Most High just using them to put this message in front of his people? Look, she represents our people being up the head. And where is she? The tail. And our people reaching down to pull her up from the ground, to pull her up to heaven, to pull her up to more wisdom. But we know the later on story in the Wizard of Oz, what happened? She helps her up, and then what happens? She becomes later on who? The Wicked Witch. And then she's on top. Which is what happened when, remember, our people, when Judah, the descendants of Judah and the 12 tribes, when our people sinned, like in Deuteronomy chapters 25 to 28, those sins, remember, what did the Most High tell our people? If you sin, you're going to go into slavery. And when our people did that, the crown switched. The wisdom was given to the Gentiles. We switched places. We became slaves. The word told our ancestors, the Most High told our ancestors through Moses and put in our word that we will go into slavery if we break the laws and commandments. If we stop serving the Most High. But this image, what it's showing right now, is showing what happened before, but it's also showing the truth now. That it's really our people who are the head now. And the people who aren't our people are reaching to our people for help, asking us to pray for them right now, asking us to talk to the Most High, to stop the Most High from them going through their chastisement. And no, we're not. It's time, no more free Edom. No more freedom for Edom. No more free Edom. It's time for them to go through Jacob's trouble. It's time for the so-called children, descendants of Israel, and those who follow us to be the head and not the tail. It's time for the Most High's people to be the head and not the tail. And it's time for Edom to get back down where they came from, because the first will be last and the last will be first. And I like this picture because it's almost like, remember, the enemy is always in our ear trying to get us to do the wrong thing. But we can't listen to them. Look at her hat. Remember where she comes from. Remember who you are, family. You come from the darkness. The hat represents the wisdom that came from the darkness that created who? The light. How you going to let your creation lead you astray? How you going to let your creation make you feel less than? They came from you. But you going to let them in your ear? You going to throw away the wisdom that the Most High gave you? Your crown, which is wisdom? You going to let them take your power from you? Take your history from you? Take the knowledge and wisdom of who your people are from the past? Who you are? The line of righteous people, line of righteous kings and queens that we come from? Kings and queens of the forest, tillers of the garden? You going to let them take that from you? And whisper all this evil in your ear, and you going to just go along with the beast system? This is the beast system in your ear, wanting you to put a crown on your head of rock, of stone, when you have a crown of wisdom already, a natural crown made of cotton of lamb. Because you follow the lamb and the wisdom that comes from the Most High Creator. Who is who? Who's the Most High Creator? Everything. Everything's made of the ether. Everything's made of the substance of the Most High. The physical came into existence from the spirit. And what does the Bible say? Wouldn't it be a crazy thing if spirit came into existence from the flesh? No, the flesh came into existence from the spirit. Look at it. Remember I told you earlier, family, about the movie with Lawrence Fishburne on Netflix? And this is like the same image. The black, where the black comes from, everything evil, right? But in this movie, she started off good. And she was evil. In this light, they were the evil people. They were the mean people who pushed her to be an evil person because she got tired of how they were treating her. And look at the way their hell looks. This is their hell. But this is the real heaven right here because she was kind. And I'll tell you another reason why this is heaven and with the monkeys and the animals. See in this scene too, family, look. Don't the black woman, the so-called black witch, what's her name again? Elphaba, Abba. Don't she look in this scene? Don't she look so confident, like she good? She ain't got nothing to worry about. She don't need no help. What's she helping? She helping who? Adam, freedom. She helping free Adam. She helping Adam out. And remember, they supposed to be with all her pink and her gold and all her pink and her diamonds and crystals in the daylight and light. Remember, they supposed to be the one having a good time. But she looked like she having trouble, like she need help. She looked like she grabbing for the hand of who? And look, the witch is going somewhere. I mean, El Habo, look where she going. She looked like she got somewhere to go. And that she reaching back to help bring her forward. But she's supposed to be the one with all the money, all the friends. She's supposed to be the one with all the connections. But yet it's El Haba, the black woman, the witch. She looked like she the one going somewhere. And she reaching back to give her hand, Glinda, who didn't have no powers in the movie. Because who? El Haba had the power. El Abba had the powers. The darkness. Remember another picture, look at her. All in her ear, right? And in this scene, so also in this movie, family, there were animals. And remember, this movie takes place before the movie Oz. And in the land before, the animals used to be able to talk. And the humans and the animals, remember what I read in the Bible? That God gave every green plant for man and all the animals to eat for nourishment. So before, nobody was eating meat. So in this movie, in Wicked, people and animals used to live side by side. Matter of fact, the goat or the lamb that you see right now, the goat, he was El Haba's professor in her class. He was her teacher. But because of what man was doing to the earth, what they were doing to the environment, whatever, The animals in the movie Wicked started to lose their voice. They started to not be able to speak English anymore. They couldn't understand the language of the humans anymore, and the humans couldn't understand them anymore. They were losing their ability to talk because of what people were doing. Remember what I said earlier, family? That if we didn't have all the technology that we had today, and that if we lived like our ancestors did, like the Druids, or the ancient Israelites, or like the time of Enoch or Noah, we would be able to understand the forest. The forest would talk to us, including the animals. We would be able to understand because we'd be so in tune with nature and with the needs of nature, with the animals. Remember, it sounded like Adam was talking to the animals too. He named them. Adam being the Adam Kadmon, Adam being atoms, the building blocks of civilization. Adam being our forefathers, our ancestors, the green and blue people who lived in harmony with nature and could understand the trees when they were talking, when they were walking, could understand the birds, could understand the goats and the lions and the bears when we all chewed and ate of the cud, when we were at peace with nature. But now, with technology, we've traded nature for the beast realm. We've traded nature for mammon. We've traded nature for the kingdoms of the beast, for the kingdoms of man, for the ways of Europeans, for boxes called houses and apartments, for pieces of metal speeding down asphalt at hundreds of miles an hour, for rubber shoes walking on cement and more cement, for food filled with foreign chemicals and things that aren't natural. What have we done to ourselves that we can no longer see past the veil and speak with nature? Oh, okay, family. So look, I'm done, but I want to speak on something else real quick. Remember, family, and I'm about done too. Remember, family, I told y'all last year, I believe last year around this time, I was outside and I took shrooms that day. And a few hours before, remember I told y'all, as I took shrooms, I was walking and the creator was talking to me about life and death and giving me comfort with it and telling me not to worry about it. It's not the end and everything happens for a reason. And as I was walking home, I was looking at a purplish, neon purplish, bluish sky. But then something, the spirit told me to turn around. And as I turned around on a busy street, I saw the sky and this is what it looked like. And it just turned like this, family. This was last year. It just started to look like this. It like I said, it didn't look the other way. I was looking the other way, but it didn't look. But I turned around. This is what I saw. This is what the clouds looked by as they were moving and passing by me. It only looked like this for maybe about 5-10 minutes, family. And remember, I looked in the street and the cars were still moving. Kids was outside playing. No one was seeing this. I was the only one, and one dude who saw me looking, who came down his stairs and saw me looking, and he started looking. But nonetheless, no one was looking at this like I was looking. It was like it was just me really and God at that moment. And then I saw the trees, and I had to take a picture, and it looked like what? The trees were on fire. I had like a Moses moment, like a burning bush moment, you see? And somebody said to me, I showed it looked like there's people in the trees. It does too. It looks like there's people, like there's images coming out of the fire. It looks like the tree is on fire, family, but it's not. And here's another angle I took. Just look at the sky, look at this color, look how beautiful. That even looked like a person right there. It almost looked like there's horses and stuff or some type of animals like deer or something jumping out of the fire. There's people, remember it looks like it's on fire, family. On fire. And over here, look at it burning back here too. Something. This is what the Most High told me. Something told me to take a picture. But let me go to, I'm about to show you a video. This video I'm about to show you is what happened this year, family. This happened last month in November.
The next 3 videos are literally from Spain and the United States. Around November 21st, 2024, multiple witnesses in different cities throughout Spain walked out to something weird in their sky.
That was loud.
These clouds that were bright red. The next 3 videos are literally from Spain and the United States. Around November 21st, 2024, multiple witnesses in different cities throughout Spain walked out to something weird in their skies. These clouds that were bright red, seen all over Spain. The first video was Valencia, the other one is Paiporta. But this is where it gets crazy. Around the same time in Florida, in the United States, a woman walked out to a bright red sky, like everything was red. And it wasn't only reported in Florida, other states saw the same thing. So what is causing this? Take a look at these videos and tell me what you think.
Miramos que se ve como de un color raro en la noche, ¿no? Y mira esa nube, mira, vos puedes creer, cariño, esa vaina como está. Eso da miedo, mira. Ay, ¿qué? Ahora ya acá en Valencia le da miedo a uno que el cielo se ponga así, mire, es clarito y vean ahí. Ay, Dios.
Este es el cielo ahora mismo aquí en Paiporta. Nunca había visto yo un cielo igual aún. Nunca. Me da miedito, vamos, parece de película.
Here, but it is red outside.
Okay, that's the end. So, family, okay, what I want to tell you now is, so, a few weeks ago, I was talking to my neighbor. And as I was talking to her, I started talking to her about the Book of Mormon. And family, if y'all going with me lately, I've had an interesting, look, I'll put it like this. I'm not going to get there, but I was telling her about the truth of the Book of Mormon. And telling her about how there is actual, the Book of Mormon talks about reincarnation. And she's like, what? I never seen that. I said, it's there, but you got to know what you're looking for. When I tell y'all, family, remember, when you read these Bibles, you got to have a Strong's dictionary. You have a regular dictionary. You got to be reading other books. It's a whole lot that goes into my research and understanding, that I can see certain things that other people don't see because I have a deeper understanding of things now, and certain words have certain meaning. Family, it's just like I said, you can do it too. You just got to do your due diligence. But nonetheless, I'm sitting here ministering as we're sitting on a porch, and the sky is blue, by the way. And I'm sitting here ministering to my neighbor about the truth of the Book of Mormon and how this book belongs to our people because, you know, she says that she comes from an Indian background, like Maya, Aztec. And I'm trying to tell her, as another brown man, as another person, my family comes from the tribes as well. And I'm trying to tell her the Book of Mormon, if you're a so-called white person, if you're a so-called black person in America today, and I'm not talking about African descent where your people just came here last generation, or this is Africa. I'm talking about American, FBA, foundational, your ancestors were in slavery. Family, understand that you are descendant from the Atlanteans, or you are descendants of the tribes of Lehi, or who's a descendant of Manasseh, or was it remember Joseph have two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim? I forget which tribe Lehi's from, but you are descendant from the lost tribes of Israel, family, from the 10 tribes. Judah was in captivity in Africa after they got kicked out of Israel, but then the Most High took some people. Before Babylon invaded Jerusalem, the Most High sent the prophet Lehi over the great waters, aka the Atlantic or Pacific Ocean. Hold on real quick, family. Okay. Anyway, so the prophet Lehi in the Book of Mormon and his son Nephi and his family came over the many waters, which is the Atlantic or the Pacific, to come over to the Americas. But remember, what did I say? They came from Jerusalem before Babylon invaded. So Indians in America are descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. So understand, family, when I say read the Book of Mormon, like I told her that day again, you have to separate the Book of Mormon from the Mormon organization or religion. Just like I tell you out the Bible, Separate the Bible from the Christian organization. The Bible and the books of the Bible do not belong to Christians. The books in the Book of Mormon do not belong to Mormons. They belong to the people of the Most High, the true priest of Melchizedek, the true priest and priestess from the lost tribes of Israel and from Judah, the northern kingdom. This is your history, and as I'm telling her this and witnessing to her, remember the sky was blue. We suddenly look up to see the sky being this color right here. This is what the sky looked like about a few weeks ago. Oh no, on the date that she was talking about. This was the sky, family. So ain't this, I'm telling y'all, family, this is a confirmation to me that day and to her, my neighbor, of the truth of the Book of Mormon. And remember, I told y'all, family, recently that
The next three videos are literally from Spain and the United States.
That I had the Mormons come into my house. Well, look, this is why I said separate the religion from the people. And these people invited me to their church so many times, family. They came over my house at least somewhere between 8 times, give or take. Just private meetings with me. This is how many times they came back and brought 4 different people. And each time they came, they would invite me to go to the church, family. And you know what happened? These people ended up lying on me and making it seem like I'm a dangerous so-called black man. But that's as far as I'm going to get into it. I don't want to deep, but this is why I had to say you separate the people from the book. And I didn't want to say this because I don't want to run y'all away, family, from the Book of Mormon. Because understand, this book is not theirs. It belongs to the people of the Most High. Get a Book of Mormon. Get your hand on the Book of Mormon and the sealed portion. And read these 2 books. But I'm not telling you, do not go join the Mormon religion. You ain't got to even go to the congregation. Look, maybe if you want to go to the congregation because you don't know how else to get an English version of the Book of Mormon or a Spanish version if you speak Spanish, then do what you got to do. Go visit. They like to welcome people. Or if one of them knock on your door, ask them to come back and bring you a book. But after that, unless the Spirit of the Most High tell you to go further with them, maybe there's someone there that you need to minister to in their congregation, or maybe the ones who come to your door, the Most High will use you to witness to them because you're a kind, respectful person, and you ain't got time to be yelling and cursing at people because you know the truth anyway. You ain't Christian, you ain't nothing. You just a servant of the Most High. So whatever you got to do to get yourself a Book of Mormon, get you one. Get you the sealed portion. I'm telling y'all, family. This was, for me, a confirmation that day of the truth. And especially those who made it through this whole video. Regardless of what I'm telling you of my situation with the Mormons. And I told them, they came to my door. I said, I'll never step in another Mormon church again. That's what I told them. I'll never step in another church again. Because I had a horrible experience. Because they lied on me and tried to make me seem like a dangerous animal. Talking about it's a scary situation. Boy, I tell you, as much. Get you a Book of Mormon, family. But don't mix that book up with their doctrines. And remember, Yahusha said, beware the leaven. It's the same thing in the Mormon church. Beware the leaven and the doctrines of men and what they and their beliefs, what they teach their people how to go about it. Just like with the Bible, family, get it. Make yourself approved by studying the Book of Mormon, by studying the Bible. So anyway, family, that's it. I just want to show you these pictures. And I thank you for listening, especially if you made it 3 hours in. 3 hours now and 3 minutes. So I thank you, family, or, who made it through. So I'm a healthy, wise, strong, protected, celestial being who is loved by the Most High Creator. Shalom, family.